3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is RDV on comics with Ash on comics and Eric Breen, who's reading comics.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, it's another stream without Angleton. On what? On what? I love comics.
That sounds like the name of a good show. Stream without Englandine.
The E-list stream. Hey, another open Mike Monday. That means those who are watching right now, if you have a topic that's not related to politics or anything gross they're discussing.
That's rough these days.
I know, right? So
Try to find something that's not. Oh, I got a topic.
Okay.
Top Gun broke $1 billion. It's the most successful Tom Cruise movie of all time. It's the only movie he's ever done that's broken $1 billion.
My theory on that is because considering what's out right now, it's been out in the past couple years, it's probably the best patriotic movie there is out in such a long time. That's my thing.
But I think that probably helps a little bit. It released on Memorial Day, so you get that crowd. But it's also its fourth week gross was bigger than any MCU movie gross in history. So that's 4 weeks past Memorial Day. I think what's happening is that people just want to see good movies, and Top Gun's not gonna win any awards. Probably it's got some good performances, but it's just solid fun. That's the thing, is it remembered that people pay lots of freaking money to go to. I don't know if those of you who haven't been at theater in a long time, it's not cheap, especially out here in California. Geez, a large Coke here, which you always get the large Coke because the smaller size is like a quarter less.
What?
It's like $8.
Jeez.
And then you're, dude. I went the theater that we go to.
Yeah.
The cheapest popcorn is the bucket. I kid you not. I was like, because I really love popcorn and a Coke when I see a movie. It's kind of my thing. And so I was like, I don't really want to spend money on popcorn. And so I was like, how much is this little bag? Like the tiny little bag, like you couldn't even fit a little kid's lunch in it.
Yeah. And
they're like, oh, well, it's more expensive than the bucket. And I was like,
nice.
Damn. So give me the bucket. But my point is, I ended up spending like $30 to see a movie. But when you're doing that
by yourself, one ticket?
No, I went with my buddy, but I'm just saying, like, it's like $30 between the ticket, the popcorn, and the Coke. And you're doing that. You don't want to walk away even with the slightest amount of meh. Like, you want to walk out and being like, yes. And I think that's what's happening is people went in that theater. For those of you who haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, I think it's more thrilling than the first one. The action scenes and stuff, it just keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's got multiples, unlike the first one where it kind of just has the big thing at the end.
Yeah.
Like over and over, you're just like, oh my God. And there's just moments where you just feel good. I was watching someone else as a political YouTuber, so I won't mention them so we can stay out of politics, but they were mentioning they hadn't felt like that since walking out of Rocky IV. And I was like, I remember walking out of Rocky IV and I had that exact same feeling. We were just like, yes. And it's not because I'm like, USA. It's just a fun movie, like Star Wars. In fact, the thing I walked out of the theater, I was like, that was a better trench run scene than Star Wars.
All right. Real quick, two things. One, I want to say hello to everybody here. To Helium, it's great to see you. Nocturna, great to see you. Ed, Maranya, Dalton, thank you all for joining. Secondly, do you go see the AMC theater? And if you did, do you do where you buy the bucket of refillable bucket of you bring it in, you spend like $30, I think, you for like a bucket, and you can bring in free refills, basically.
Are you asking me or the audience?
Well, anybody who goes to AMC.
I haven't been to an AMC in a long time, mostly just because it's not convenient where I am at. The theater that I go to it's like a no name. It's called like a reading cinema.
Mom and pop? thing?
I guess it's got like 20 screens, and it's in a mall. So I don't. You have to be a pretty rich mom and pop to run it. One of the things I like about that theater, though, is if you can manage to go on a Sunday, they have this really cool deal where you can get a large popcorn and 2 drinks of their Sunday special, and it's $11. And you're just like, what? Like, so the problem is convincing anyone to go with me on a Sunday. So, but that's always tough.
So, Breen, what was it like when theaters were first being built?
I just want to ask Ash. I said you said you went to see the movie with your buddy.
Yeah.
You didn't attempt the Shrevey popcorn trick from Diner, did you?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I know, because you didn't tell me to go F myself.
I would never try that.
Oh, yes, you would.
Quirks, hello. Hi.
No, I think, no, don't say hi to him.
What?
Wow.
No, if he's going to make a production out of it, then we should let him have his moment.
Fine. Goodbye, Quirks.
No,
is that better?
No, this is unhello.
Unhello.
And good luck on your quest there. I watched the video. Sorry you missed by 2 pounds, but I got confidence you'll get 9 this week.
I haven't been looking at the chat yet because I was fulfilling a previous request by RDV to go into the weeds so we could allow time for people to come in before we talk on some of the bigger topics. And then I just got excited about Top Gun because legitimately I enjoyed that much time. So Quirks, I'm sorry, I did not see you. It's not about missing you, or it's not about not saying hi to you. I just haven't looked at the chat yet. So hello, Quirks. Hello, everyone else as well. Marania, Dalton, Ominous, Ed. I'm sure I'm missing someone. This is another reason I hate to heal him. I don't want to just single people out.
Well, I know, I heard that.
What?
I didn't say I hate to heal. I said hey to heal.
Oh my gosh, they're
no T was in there.
Oh.
Breen, they're multiplying. There's 2 Jimmys now.
Oh my God. Well, no, there's only one because Comic Quirks left and Jimmy Vlogs is here.
Okay. Can I say hello to that person?
Well, yes, because he did. Yeah, he didn't complain because
all right,
he didn't feel slighted.
Hello to Jimmy Vlogs.
Yeah, we always liked you better.
Yes. Ash,
welcome, MK. Don't feel slighted. Hello,
Ash.
Please, thank you for being here.
If you're gonna go into the weeds, you gotta start your timer.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Eric, you're my timer. When Eric leaves, then I know I went too long.
Also, you didn't tell us what beer you're drinking tonight.
Oh, that's right. Tonight I'm drinking the last of my Stella Artois. And yes, I am currently holding my pinky out. And oh, what you got there? I thought that was Coors for a second. I just saw the CO.
I just have my pinky out and my lips pursed, like I'm sure you do.
Is that just Coke Zero? Like, it's got a weird color.
Yeah,
well, they changed
just your camera.
Can. No, they changed the can.
It's like a pinkish can.
No, it's just like the lighting on your camera makes it look pink. I wasn't sure if that was like the new Starlight flavor.
Well, I am Rawhide Kid, so
yeah. Have any of you guys tried that new? I think it's called Starlight.
I did. It was kind of weird, but
yeah, I'm recovering alcoholic. Not bad. Thanks for asking, Ash.
Wow.
Well, if you get a Coors, you're not recovering anymore.
Yep. 30 years and Ash going, hey, have you tried that new beer yet?
Hey, Coors makes a non-alcoholic.
I know. It's actually better than the regular beer.
The non-alcoholic.
Well, that's not hard.
Hey.
Well, that's true because it's weird, though. When I drank fake beer, the beers, the companies that made, piss water for the regular beer surprisingly had good NAs.
Now, are the NAs next to the actual beer? Does how they get you in? Or is it like in the soda aisle? Because I've seen them in both.
No, it's just in there with the regular.
You've seen them in the soda aisle?
Yeah, I've seen that. NA. I've seen the NAs in there. The non-alcoholic.
Hey, kids, why drink Coke? You could have a beer.
That's right.
Oh, jeez.
Here, have a beer to go with that pack of bubblegum cards.
That was Kroger. For whatever reason, the one Kroger I went to, I was like, root beer. Oh, that's NA.
Welcome, Indie Comic Jones. Good to see you. I miss Kroger. When I was in Colorado, we didn't actually have Kroger's, but we had a store called King Supers, which is owned by Kroger. And that was a really cool grocery store.
I'm sure Skip likes that. King's
Supers.
Kroger just made an important announcement today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, $4,000 each if you want to do. You know what? They'll send you anywhere you want to go.
We were trying to avoid the politics.
I know. I'm saying, but you mentioned Kroger. I thought it.
Yeah.
So you want to go first?
I'm trying to resist. I'm a Paula Tickaholic, and if I take a sip, I can't. You know what I'm saying?
That's why. Okay, so like when you asked me if I've tried that new beer, I asked you if you tried that new Kroger statement.
Yeah, there we go.
See, we're trying to get each other to crack.
See, that's why I'm a pro gun, because that way if you get too far in the weeds, I can just put you out of your misery.
There we go.
We lost him in the weeds. I don't know where he went.
Maybe that's why. I see. I can't resist. I can't get moving on.
But if you want to go further into the weeds, I was talking to you, Ash, earlier about this. Isn't like comic related, but it says ironically it is still connected to grocery stores, Walmart. You don't have the full self checkout lanes, or you don't have the.
I've never even seen one.
You've never seen? Okay.
Yeah, and when I was in Colorado. By the way, all the Walmarts in Colorado are super Walmarts. They don't have regular Walmarts. And so they're gigantic. And they don't have these things.
Wow. Yeah, because that was their answer to not having cashiers. They just added more self-checkout lanes. Ones where
maybe they did it. Yeah. Did they put them in during COVID?
No, they're been years before that.
They started about the same time that the Yahoos said we should make $15 an hour to ring people up. They said,
yep. Seattle.
Nah, these will work just fine.
See, that's funny because one of the reasons I moved to Colorado, I went way back in 2000, was because I'm living in California. Economy totally sucks. No one can make any money. Well, some people can, but I'm not going to go on that. But so I moved to Colorado, lots of opportunities, and I'm telling you, probably about 10 years ago, I remember. Having like some political discussion about minimum wage laws and blah, 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 blah. And, back then every state was the federal minimum wage, $7 an hour. And I took a photo and showed them at the Walmart in Castle Rock, Colorado, which is about 15 minutes north of the Denver metro area, or is it south of the Denver metro. Anyways, hiring at $15.25 an hour starting. And I said, when you have a good economy, you don't need minimum wage laws. This was 10 years ago that they were just voluntarily paying this because jobs were so plentiful. They had to pay well to get workers. And that was one of the great things about Colorado. You could just do anything. Everywhere you went, help wanted signs. The economy was booming. And 10 years later, things changed. But that's just the thing. Like you don't need that. You just need to make people succeed. And I know we weren't supposed to go into politics, but this is an argument against for trickle down economics. When companies can do well, they can afford to pay people, and they will. I've seen living proof.
We are pro weeds, anti, politics.
Oh yeah, Colorado was one of the first states to be pro weeds. That's where I started.
You went into the weeds a lot in those days, didn't you?
Fun fact: I've never actually done or tried marijuana.
Really?
Never once. I have considered trying edibles. I couldn't smoke even if I wanted to because I have respiratory issues. But
I would say it's probably safer back when Breen was a teenager.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Said last time I smoked pot, Jim Mikado was president.
Yep.
Because I learned very early. Well, by about 17, I said this sucks.
I wanted to know what it was like. I'm one of those people that the curiosity. I just want to know once, just so I can go, oh, okay, I can relate to your experience. I understand what it is, but I don't.
Well, we have an expert to talk about that.
Oh,
hey!
I thought we agreed no potheads on the channel.
I said no politics. You can have anybody who
politics.
likes
weeds. Similar.
Is this Jimmy Vlogs?
I don't know. I'm asking which one can I say hi to? I don't.
It's Comic Quirks today because after this I'm recording.
I gotta put you back behind the stage. Sorry,
Quirks.
Quirks is gone. Sorry.
Yep. See ya. See ya, Quirks.
See ya.
I have a hard time telling the difference between Comics Quirks and Jimmy Vlogs. They look really similar.
Well, one of them's skinnier actually.
Oh,
Lost weight.
all right. Congratulations to that one.
Is that
Yeah,
one fighting?
better
for food?
luck
Yeah.
next time to the one that
Good.
didn't.
Too bad Comic Quirks is here.
That's,
Well, I like both of them, so I'm not like these yahoos.
By the way, I watched your video, Ash Wednesdays. It was the first time I literally I want to say watched a video where I kind of felt like 2 years ago, you know?
Oh,
Like
well, good.
2
I'm glad
years
I had
ago
some-
where comics were
Wait.
somewhat good, on the rise again, before new what was that? The new DC thing. They
Ironically, that was the last time he made a video. Was 2 years ago.
Jimmy, 2 years ago, Ash was good too.
Oh. Oh man.
Oh man.
Ouch. Well, if only I would have got the vax, maybe I could have kept up my my quality, but
I want to go back to school, but my the college I go to is like, we're only allowing you to come back if you get the vaccine, and I'm like,
What about online?
that
classes?
sucks.
There's no online courses.
That's the reason. No, I'm doing online courses through.
Oh,
it.
okay.
I want to be like in school.
Oh, okay.
Who still? At what point do they give up this farce?
never.
Yeah, I know. That's rhetorical.
When
Can never admit defeat.
When kids stop going to college.
Orson Welles, one of my favorite quotes. If you want to, I'm gonna butcher it, but it's if you want to know the future, imagine a boot stepping on a human face forever.
The bootstrap theory, right?
No, it's not
Just
a bootstrap.
But
it's just
his other famous quote from that era was, "Yes, please supersize my order."
it's human nature for some people to want to run other people's lives, and as long as we have human nature, we're going to have that. And if we don't fight it, if we don't institute measures to protect us from those people, it eventually will happen.
Well, I'm watching.
I agree. That's why I like the Benjamin Franklin quote. The
Oh yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah, the vote Biden 2020.
That's not the one I was thinking of. But...
Well, no,
my bad.
I was thinking about the other one. He says that Clea Strange is hot.
No, so yeah, I'm watching the Red Sox Blue Jays. They're playing in Toronto.
I'm sorry.
One of Boston's starting outfielders and their best one of their starting pitchers isn't there because they're unvaxxed.
There was a NFL player. No, it wasn't an NFL player. It was a I want to say a huge NBA player like
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving. Yeah. He was not kicked off.
Well, yeah, but here it is, outdoors, months and months later. Again, this is nothing but cosmetic theater of the absurd. Because, like I said, especially I said, I've gotten 4 shots and 7 boosters, and I got COVID. I feel pretty bad, but boy, how bad would I feel if I hadn't gotten all those shots? And they're keeping guys out of the country. You have professional athletes traveling with their team over something that has obviously been proven to be, how shall we say, less than effective.
I think Marania caught me real quick. Hold on. Marania caught me. I think I might have misspoke. If I said Orson Welles, I didn't mean to. I was trying to say Orwell.
Well, Orson Welles did say, though, yes, please supersize my order.
Yeah. Ash, what was the Benjamin Franklin quote? Because I don't know which one you're thinking of.
Oh, and I can't recall it. That's why I was teeing you up. I was hoping you were going to say it.
So did Orson Welles go to Fargo then? Is that where they got Wells Fargo?
What?
No, you're thinking of Alfred Hitchcock.
Well, Wells Fargo predates Orson by a few years.
You were there, so you know.
You know what?
Right.
So what are you guys reading nowadays?
I'm actually liking Jimmy more than you right around now.
That's my goal. They make you dependent on Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Jimmy Vlogs. What did you say something?
Yeah. What's the point of this stream? What are we talking about?
Hell do we know?
This is the Monday random stream.
You decided to jump on before we got to our out of the weeds.
Yeah, we thought you had a good topic.
Fortunately, the person
Eric Green and Ash on Comics are on the stream together. I had to jump on.
Well, fortunately, the person I invited, I said, "You want to come on and talk comics?" Couldn't make it because we don't seem to be talking any comics. So that's probably just as well.
Yeah, I can bring up something.
If you guys look, I was just gonna say real quickly, if you actually look at the description, as it says comic book news, it's open mic night. If you have a topic, we'll talk about it.
Oh no.
Well, Skip and Tosh actually just sent me a picture of the USPS, United States Postal Service receipt, and he sent me a Howard Schenken and Mike Mignola comic book.
Hey, Yo Carter. Sorry. I saw somebody else more famous.
I don't even know how to pronounce it, but it looks beautiful. It's
you want to come
Fofford?
on?
Yeah, I'll post a link if he wants to jump on.
Fofford and the Gray Mouse.
It'd be nice to talk to Yule, not eulogizing a great artist.
So Jimmy's sitting here trying to talk about comics. You guys keep talking over him. Fafford and Gray Mouse, yes. It's based on a fantasy novel series.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it's Howard Schenken, which is like Skip. I mean, Skip just adores him. So I'm like, and I like him too. He sent me a book, I don't remember what book it was, but he did an Avengers book as well that I liked. And then Mike Mignola, of course. So I'm hoping for great things.
All right. Was there more to that? I want to cut you off.
No, that's it.
Wow, you made me stop interrupting for that.
Hold on. This is why you stopped talking. So you can have you on.
Mr. Carter.
Did it for you. Yeah.
Is this your first time on the channel?
It is.
And he's not here to see it. Amazing how people jump on his channel when he's not here.
Let me
probably for the best.
Yeah, it is. Hold on a second. All right, I got it. I still have the YouTube up.
Oh.
Well, I'm so professional. I just conducted an interview.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. A writer of comics. I'll be letting people know about that shortly.
Need to know.
Wow, you sound like a writer yourself of comics, because every time they advertise their own book, they can't say anything about it.
Can you give us a little tease? Is it a newer modern writer, or is it a classic older writer?
It is somewhere in between, a person who's worked for Marvel, DC, self-published, outside of comics. I find that their stuff is quite good, and I usually read it if I can.
When do we get to look for this interview?
So I have Fantastic Comics. That's my store. It's also my YouTube channel, and I'll put it out there probably like in a week.
All right, cool.
You'll know who it is by then. Yeah.
Can I get the DVD format?
The DVD?
Yeah, can I get the DVD of it?
I could like send it over the waves, the internet tubes.
Thank you.
But I mean, it's just on YouTube.
I'm gonna burn it. Don't worry.
Well, if you're gonna burn it, get a VHS copy. Those are better.
Oh yeah. Hey, Breen, can I borrow your laser disc player?
It's in the shop.
Hey, Eric, this is a real reason why I needed to get on. You don't want to do about 20 or 30 minutes tomorrow night, would you?
Oh God, who died?
Nobody died.
Okay.
Avengers number 200. Yeah. I saw somebody on Twitter that said that it was the worst professionally written comic ever. And I'm like, that's not true. That's just not true.
I've read Tom King.
I saw somebody dissing Mike Grell's Longbow Hunters because a Black Canary wasn't as great as Arrow was in there.
Yeah, that opinion doesn't count.
Well, I'm just saying that falls in the same crap.
Yeah. No, that's when DC was trying. Comics aren't just for kids.
I literally saw this. I think Sergeant Bats tweeted this out. It was a review on Amazon about some old, I want to say like 1980s, 1970s Batman book with Batman and Catwoman. And then the comment was, it wasn't as good. I'd rather go back and read Tom King. And I'm like, What?
Wait, was rather read Tom King than what?
Then like a 1980s, 1970s Batman book with Batman and Catwoman.
There's a certain style of writing, you don't want to, most people don't want to go read a Victorian book, novel, because the language is so, and it's that kind of storytelling of comics that, people need the Bendis stuff, it's got to snap.
Hey, see, I like you.
Well, I mean, I understand why people are wrong, is all I'm saying.
That's a good point, Yul, and something I've tried to come to grips with over the last several years is that, because we're talking about that on the retrospective we did today, because it's just in one issue, that would be a 6-issue arc today.
Yeah.
And if you have come into the hobby in the last 10 years during the writing for the trade, the all different era, it can be jarring. I mean, when you go into the last page of a comic and it's still during the penultimate fight scene, 5 panels later, it's wrapped up. That's not for everybody. I can't process that, but it is true.
The difficulty is with the decompressed writing. Sometimes I like decompressed writing. Sometimes, especially if it's just like an original graphic novel, and you're not having to wait 6 months to get one comic's worth of story. But the problem is it's affecting the industry because it's making it so comics can't continue beyond any sort of reasonable issue number, because no one wants to jump in the middle of these comics, because the way they're written, you can't. You're lost. You're jumping in, and it's like walking into a movie halfway through. You're just like, well, I don't know what's going. It's difficult to follow. And the old days where most of these comics were one and dones, and even if they did have like multiple issue story arcs, each issue still felt like you'd come in and they would recap what happened and remind you, and you could easily just jump in at any point and know, like, oh, okay, I'm following this story. It's easy. Nowadays, no one wants to. Everyone wants to jump in on number 1, because then the story starts. But by the time it gets to issue 10, you're like, I don't want to jump in. And I'm that way for sure. Like, I'm just like, I need to go back to number 1, because these comics aren't written like periodicals anymore. They're written like omnibuses.
Well, Ash,
and
when I started, it was 2003. I got into comic books. Early 2000s, they actually had the big paragraphs. Previously, in the previous issue, they give you a summarization of what's going on. So if you started at issue 3, you knew what was still kind of going on, but you still wanted to go back and try to find 1 and 2 so you could see the art.
Yeah, they still do that, but I still find that difficult, because they just give you some exposition, like previously on, in the Hulk, this happened, and you're like, but when you write it into the comic. And I know why they don't write it in the comic, do this anymore, because the comic industry has really converted into selling trades. And when you binge these old style comics, it can be a little bit tedious, because you're constantly like, I just read this 5 seconds ago, and you're rehashing it. But, this was like, we read comics every month, and sometimes comics being bi-monthly. And so rehashing that wasn't a big deal, because it wasn't so fresh in your mind. But everyone binge reads nowadays, and so they don't. But it's affecting the new comic sales. And what I'm noticing, and myself included on this, is I'm buying comics off the shelf, and I'm waiting like 6 months, and then I'm like reading 6 issues at a time, and that's really frustrating me, because I'm like, every time I like buy a new issue, and I'm like, oh man, I got all these issues I haven't even read yet. And I'm like, wait, why am I even buying this if I'm not reading them right away? And it's like, well, I'm going to read them. And I'm like, well, I could just wait for trades. And then it just makes me less enthusiastic overall. And I think that's just hurting the industry. And I don't think anyone in the industry really wants to admit this, because I don't know what their decisions are, but they're, I think, afraid to go back to old school style comics.
Well, here's another thing. It's not just like that. There's also the way they write stories back then. Like I've learned recently that newer generations of readers, not even talking about comic books, have a hard time reading Tolkien in the way he wrote. So
Dude,
I
have
think
a
it could
hard
also
time
be
reading Tolkien.
Really?
I'm 48.
I've never had a
dry.
hard time reading it. I grew up with it, so I don't think I've had a hard time.
I just don't read it.
I'm just
Well,
not
that's
a
where
fan
you're
of him.
wrong, Green. You should.
Well, that's why he likes comics so much, because he got pictures.
Yeah,
They help.
because that way I can fake the fact that I've never learned to read.
Yeah.
When I asked you on the show, you better get to snuff, man.
Am I going to be arguing with somebody or?
No, not at all. We're just going to review this show. We're going to do like you do on Wes's channel.
Okay. All right.
Just
So
read me
I guess I better dig it up and read it.
Yeah.
I think it's so.
Reread
Wait,
it.
are you on like 3 different retrospective channels now?
No, it's just
This doesn't count. This isn't the same though. This is just being a guest.
No, we do one on our Geeky Puppet show with him too. So on Thursday nights. So it's like I feel like sometimes he gets like he's just overworked.
well.
Remember, Green, it all started with my channel.
I have, I'm happy to come on to your channel. I will stream with anybody,
Including Ash.
I will stream with almost anybody.
That setup, that was like a slow ball. I was just waiting for it to cross.
That was like just hanging on the net.
Oh, here it comes.
Yeah. What time? I know you started 11. Yeah, my time. What time do you want me to?
Show up like unless you want to watch the videos. You can do like 10 minutes after. I'll lead off with this actually.
Okay.
But if you want to like be backstage for a few minutes,
that's fine.
come by around set. I'll link you. I'll link you.
So Jimmy, Ronnie is saying you still need to be educated on
I
comic
was
books.
hoping you wouldn't read that.
I have to. Ronnie's being nice to me, so.
Well, let's just do it nicely because we can't scare all the kids away all the time.
Well, you don't feel bad. I'm 48 years old, and there's tons I need to learn about comics. Like if you think you know it all, then you really have a problem. Like we all can learn things, and
that's right.
Skip, what's up?
I was teaching Skip about Palookaville when he was at the shop the other day.
Oh, really? The oh crap, what's it called? The Canadian book
Drawn in
right?
Quarterly, yeah. Company is Drawn in Quarterly. It's Seth. He does a book called within Palookaville. The storyline that's been going on for like 15 years, 20 years is called Clyde's Fans, and it'll never end.
Palookaville was optioned, I think, a year ago.
I can't. Well, we'll see.
Everything's optioned.
Everything's optioned.
I'm waiting for Chariot. It's been optioned for about a year.
No, but Palookaville is kind of an older book, so like it being optioned was kind of surprising. That's why I remember it.
Well, it's just a autobiographical book, which was very popular in the 90s. I recommend Peep Show, and I especially recommend the Diaries because the interviewee and I were talking about Matt Wagner for a little bit, and some behind the scenes Matt Wagner stuff at Kamiko, which was happening at the time, is actually in the Peep Show Diaries. And there's your knowledge for the evening. Useless knowledge. Joe Matt, he's the best.
He's pretty good.
He's all right. Anyhow, guys, I gotta go eat. Thanks for having me on. I would love to hang out and do this on a Monday someday.
Or if you want to join us on Thursday nights too, if we talk about something you want to come on Geeky Puppet Show, or vice versa.
You're always welcome to come by and poach our talent.
Yeah, this week we're doing Fantastic Four 168, 9, and 170. It's when Power Man joined the team.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All right. Well, maybe I'll just
more than welcome.
I'm usually doing work like pressing and stuff like that.
But thanks for stopping by, and I will see you tomorrow night.
All right. See you guys later. Thanks.
Hey, later, Yul.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yep.
Yeah, way to go, Jimmy. You drove another one out.
Way to go, man.
Skip, if you want to jump on, if you're not too tired for your workout.
Jimmy, I'm sorry. I miss you, bud.
Me too, man.
Every single time.
I literally do like spurts where I'll be doing my own thing, trying to figure out how to make better vlogs and stuff. And then it turns out by the end of that, I'll be gone for 3 months. I'll be oh crap, I gotta go say hi to the guys and then come back.
If you want to find Jimmy regularly, stop on Wednesday nights on, was it Mad Men in a Box?
Mad Men with a box.
Oh, Ben with a box. Okay. It's a Doctor Who thing.
Doctor Who thing. We got Oz Chris, Professor Pixel, and sometimes writer extraordinaire Landry Q. Walker. And
Quirks, comic Quirks.
No. Well, yeah, but no. Gervain from Animated Concepts is on there too.
Oh, Gervain Dargan?
Yeah.
Dargan? Well, I was going to say those first two you mentioned, you used to hang out with a better class of reprobates.
Pixel's the only other one who watched Doctor Who, so we got him on.
I watched it go by. I said
I saw a couple episodes once.
The last one I saw was
Doctor Who?
Yeah. Wait, which one?
Ash.
Yeah. I think I saw maybe a quarter of the David Tennant season.
Which season? There's 3.
I know.
Well, I don't know. I think I saw like 6 episodes. If I were to
Dude,
guess.
you got to start from the beginning. It's
wait, like
unless you didn't like it, then there's no point. But
I didn't like it. I thought it was fine. It just I didn't get into it enough to pursue it. So I was like, it's cool. Like I don't get why people are fanatics about the show, but I have plenty of things that people don't get that I'm a fanatic about. It's just some things grab you, some things don't.
Yep. I started out with in 2006 when it came back in the new stuff, and I watched it with my niece.
2005.
So yeah, or 2005, 2006, whatever. Doesn't make a difference. Jeez, calm down.
What day, month, year, and time did it come back? What did Doctor Who have for breakfast that day?
But all I remember though, the season DVDs, because those are coming out, were like $80 a piece. Those are ridiculous. I was like,
I have them all. I have the whole series on that.
Did you get them from Walmart for $40 each? A couple years back.
They're 20 actually.
Oh, they're now 20.
Those geek shows always rip off their fan base.
All right.
Hey, just because that's true, but I'm happy to do it.
It's so true. Like, dude, Babylon 5, like they were like $100 a season. You can spend $500 to get all 5s. You're like, this is stupid. X-Files, man, remember when X-Files was $100 a season? And that's $1,000 to get it all. Like
Jenna Coleman, sorry, it's Brendan talking.
Gillian Anderson. We lost interest in Dark Jenna Coleman. Yeah, that was
Jenna Coleman. Yeah,
that was 2017. No, 2016. My bad. But Gillian Anderson didn't she play Scully?
Yeah, on X-Files.
Yeah, now she's playing a sex ed teacher for teenagers in high school on a Netflix show called Sex Education.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. Moving along.
The show is messed up.
All right, so we've been in the weeds for 38 minutes. So do you want to continue going in weeds, or do you guys want to get some topics here?
Yeah, I think now is the time to release the big topic.
Well, I got some. I got one little minor one that might make you cringe.
I like cringe. That's
yes.
Cringe of the day.
Not like bad cringe where you're like, screw this crap, this is this is retarded, But then again, you might think it's retarded.
All right.
So let me share it.
Please, we don't say retarded nowadays. We just say
yes,
RDV.
We do.
Wow. That's how you want to play. All right.
Or do you just say retardus?
I'm like Ingleton. I'm like Ingleton. I kick people out.
I made a Doctor Who joke.
Who?
You're catching up, Breen. You're catching up.
All right. Anybody see this?
Yeah.
Why would you? It's bad enough we got Lady Gaga play Harley Quinn, but a musical.
She's supposed to play Harley Quinn.
Yes, yeah. It's rumored. If she makes a deal, she would play Harley Quinn, and this is just weird because it's gonna be a musical sequel. From her point of view, I guess her crazy.
I'm not actually against this, to be honest. Like it I'm sure some people are going to cringe at this, but the Joker movie was a weird experiment anyway, and you're kind of left not knowing if this is all in his head or if it was real. So this idea that this is some sort of fever dream delusional madness of Joker that we're witnessing in the sequel, like who knows? Like, and as far as Lady Gaga, like if you're gonna cast Joaquin Phoenix, who's got kind of a weird look as Joker, like the whole movie of the Joker, one of the things I appreciated was that it wasn't like Hollywood glamorous. It was very gritty and like real. Like this is the people you see on the street. They don't look like movie stars. And Lady Gaga is attractive enough, but she's not like a starlet. Like they're not putting some hot chick in. I could definitely believe, actually, if you're trying to convince me this is a realistic telling of a story, that I could definitely believe someone that, and I'm not trying to make fun of her looks or anything, but hopefully everyone's saying that she's a psychotherapist or psychologist. No, what is she? A psychiatrist? Like she's a doctor, right? I always had this trouble believing, like, oh, you're a psychologist and you're a perfect 10 out of 10 swimsuit model at the same time.
She's a psychiatrist.
Whatever.
So here's my question here is, do we really need a sequel? Because we've seen movies that were great the first time and they pop and they come back and they end up being Ghostbuster 2. Doesn't capture the same feeling as the first one.
Well, I have no interest in seeing it because I didn't like the first one, but it made over $1 billion on a next to nothing budget. This is one of the most profitable films of all time, if not the most profitable film of all time. So it's a no-brainer to make a sequel, no matter how crappy. But they're bringing in the original creator, like, so give him a chance, I guess.
All right. We have 2 more people that's jumped on. So
good Lord,
I know, and I'm just gonna say right now, do not talk over each other, or I'll be muting mics.
Okay.
Well, I guess we should probably welcome. So Skip,
yes,
Tehillim, and Tevya have joined us. Welcome.
Shalom and good day. It's good to see you, man. Good to see you back.
So
it's cool. It's not like I just returned either, Tevya, but okay.
Oh,
I see you too.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy.
You had your chance.
You're just fishing for that attention tonight.
And if you had 42 minutes 35 seconds where Breen stops talking because there's so many people.
That's true, and that's actually, since I doubt seriously if it's going to get anything back to anything I can contribute much to.
Hold on,
I'm gonna. Do we got another?
Yeah, we do. Angletain's here now.
Fucking hell, everybody's here, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, well, to quote one of my favorite movies, I think we're a few menudo over the limit.
There you go. So, dude, you and I would have been kicked out of Menudo 40 years ago.
You got that right, brother. But I'm gonna jump off here. I'll stay in chat, and I might pop back in later. I think I'm gonna go eat or something.
No,
sorry, Green.
Talk to you. Maybe it's good to see you again, and
take care.
So,
yep.
Good
Billy
night,
Joe, Jim Bob, everybody else. Adios.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, so basically, if you're just tuning in now, if we're still talking about this Joker 2, but then we're going to talk about the DC San Diego Comic-Con. That's our next topic. So anything else before that? Because unless you got a bigger topic than that.
No, I'm good. We'll talk about what this is your show for now, anyway.
For now. Well, I'm just letting you know in case you have something else that's No,
I just came back from watching Black Phone.
Oh yeah, the horror movie. From, Scott Derrickson.
Do you know what modern day kids? They just don't have a sense of humor. Because I said I walk up and I say one for the phone movie, and the girl goes Black Phone. And I said, why's it gotta be black? And she just stares at me. It's like shut up.
I was just gonna say that the sequel is White Phone.
He's probably petrified, didn't know how to respond to that. She's like, oh, I'm 2 seconds away from being canceled.
Yeah.
And the sequel to that would probably be Tablet.
Was this at the theater? Like a employee or a customer?
No, it was an employee.
Was it good?
Around.
You know what it is?
It was solid. It was solid. It's a very straightforward film, and it's a horror film in the way that The Sixth Sense is. It's got horror elements, but it's not actually like it's not a slasher film or anything like that.
So I'm gonna tell you why she didn't. She was horrified because they have undercover people that work for the company that will come in and try to like trip them up. Retail does it all the time.
Well, I've never experienced that at a.
You're lucky because how crazy some of these people are. These companies, they want to make sure that you're on the correct side of the politics.
Wait, the psychos.
But anyway, in the headlights.
So
overall, I liked it. Our mom and pop's theater, it only cost like $8. What? It was $19 for the both of us, so it was $8.50 at the 7:00 show.
That's good.
So
that's good.
I think it was worth the price. So I know for a lot of people, especially if you're in the city, that's a matinee price. So that's what I would recommend. I don't know. It was a good film. It wasn't a great movie. It was very straightforward, no twists and turns. And all throughout the movie, I was doing something I'm sure Gail wished I shut up about is, oh, okay, yeah, this right here is going to happen because of this. Yeah, I was doing that all the way through, and I was only wrong once. So, yeah.
Well, anything. Did you see Elvis?
No, he's dead, dude.
No, not that Elvis. I meant the movie Elvis, the new one.
Not yet. I want to because Baz Luhrmann directed. He directed Moulin Rouge, and I'm a big fan of that as
Romeo
well.
And
I thought it
Juliet.
was really good.
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet. Yeah.
And Australia with Hugh Jackman, which is an underrated film.
I hear that the beginning of Elvis is very much like the beginning of Moulin Rouge, where it's just freaking crazy and it's hard to get a good hold on it. Hello to Skip and Tosh. What's up? Looking at everybody in the chat. We got Tahilium and
Skip and Tosh is here, dude.
Yeah.
He's on with us.
He's been waiting to say hello.
Usually I jump on and Skip's the one that leaves. It's this time it was Eric.
Yeah, we trade off. It was his week.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna deal with him. I dealt with him last time. No.
So did you see this Did you see the headline? Musical?
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm all for it. Bring it on. I think this is gonna. You know what? At the very least, it's gonna be different. So I'm big onto this. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when it was first announced.
Yeah.
I'm good, man. First of all, I could see Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. She is a decent enough actress, and we know she could sing. We know that Joaquin Phoenix can sing because of I Walk the Line. We've never had a superhero or comic book musical. Let's try it. I mean, we've had moments.
Hey! The boys did it last week.
Yeah, the boys did it last week. Amazing.
We had moments, but we never had a straight up musical. And even that was them lip syncing to
Spider-Man the musical on Broadway.
They did one show of that. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited about this because at the very least it's going to be different.
Yeah,
I want to see that. I want to see the full length.
With it.
I want to see a full length feature of the musical we got inside the Hawkman show.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
So what would be interesting with this movie is if they make it very similar to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, considering some of the themes that are covered around the Joker.
I would say more Sweeney Todd.
I like that idea.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Would you go Sweeney Todd on this and make it serious and dour? I mean, at the end of Sweeney Todd, basically everybody but the young people are dead. Everybody over
Sweeney Todd dies.
Dead. Yeah.
The wife died without a plot twist actually coming.
You know,
I'm gonna make a
quick disclaimer about Sweeney Todd but so about Sweeney Todd though, that ending. I was confused. Like, what the
movie doesn't do it justice.
Ow.
The actual musical of Sweeney Todd, its ending is way more coherent.
I'm gonna make a prediction in this Joker film. Yeah. It's gonna be where the Joker is incarcerated, and Harley Quinn is his doctor. And the musical portion will be played out in such a way that it will be ambiguous to be whether all of this is happening in Joker's mind, which is why it'll be all insane and weird, or it's reality. Like,
that's okay because that is the structure of Chicago.
Yeah.
All the songs. Yeah, all the songs in Chicago are in their heads. It's not like they're doing their dialogue and boom. And that's why you have Taye Diggs, the narrator. And he's like, what is it? And this is Velma in an act of desperation. And then she sings No One Can Do It Alone. But yeah, all the musical numbers are in their head. So yeah, I say bring it on. And like I said, at the very least, it will be something different. It will be something we've never seen before. Now, Marania's bringing up It's a Bird That's Playing at Superman, which I highly recommend everybody check out because it's incredibly bad. But even that, even that was it was a stage show that was filmed. It was not an actual superhero movie musical. So
yeah,
I think it's whatever we think is going to happen with this Joker film is not going to happen. That's my prediction, because it's just, you can do literally almost anything with the Joker and how crazy it could be, and it would still work. And because Todd Phillips isn't just your average writer director and puts out whatever first thing that comes to his head. He genuinely thinks through things, and that's why Joker, the first one, was just so great.
Now, if you don't mind me bringing up hey, did you guys hear this kind of announcement? Because I just finished playing it. I'm doing all the extra stuff right now. Batman Origins is finally getting an upgrade.
Wow.
About bloody time.
A reboot? a remaster with new,
it's getting remastered. It's getting cleaned up. It's getting put out. They're dropping the DLC, the first player. What was it? I'm trying to say the online battle mode.
Multiplayer.
They're dropping that so they can focus on the first player game, the one that the part that we really care about. So
the single player.
Yeah, I'm freaking jazzed for that. I've always loved Batman Origins.
Yeah, that's the one connected to the
Hold on, guys. TLM, what are you saying?
I was saying that's the one connected to the Arkham games. Yeah.
So
it's Batman Arkham Origins, I think.
Yeah,
Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
It got crap,
and you also have Batman Go to Blackgate in it as well, and you get.
I hope so. I hope they do that, because there was a handheld game that was Batman Arkham Blackgate or something like that, and it was okay.
Blackgate,
yeah. I would love to see them incorporate those levels into actual Batman Origins. That would be badass.
Arkham Origins is under a game. I'm glad you remastered finally. About damn time. Hopefully this can succeed, and maybe we not get more Arkham games, go down Arkham franchise, but maybe we get set. You made Superman game, damn it! I want Superman game. I'm saying for you.
Cool Superman game would be cool.
Superman Returns was not great. Yeah.
Oh,
by the way, Superman Returns.
I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the video game. The video game was lacking. Gail had to calm me down again today at the movie theater. That's the one. I can't stand rudeness. I don't think this guy was being rude, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Guys, please tell me, when you eat popcorn, do you just eat it, or do you make the fucking cartoon noises?
Oh, yeah, I make the cartoon noises.
I don't eat popcorn. I eat critters.
It just means that he was raised in the barn.
It was right.
I'm with you. Shoulder. No, I'm with E. I'm with you, because I went to watch Maverick with my friend. He ate like that, but that didn't annoy me. The thing that annoyed me was he would take a sip, put his drink down, and then not even like a second and a half later bring it up and do it until the whole drink was gone. For every second and a half, I'm like, just drink until you're done drinking.
This guy made freaking smacking noises after he drank. I would hear it. What the? Shut up!
People that do that tend to not even be aware that they're doing it.
Yeah, that's
it's like
why,
clicking a pen
Gail
and stuff.
Going,
they're just not even. They're oblivious.
Gail was like, just watch the movie. Just watch the movie. Just don't pay attention to him. But the thing is once it got my attention, it's like it's like when you lose a tooth and you just got to keep putting your tongue in the hole.
Well, that's when I saw Top Gun Maverick, and like a row or two behind me, was a guy, and he's like explaining to his kid like why this is because the first, like, I'm just like, dude, and he was talking like a normal voice, like not even like whispering. You know, I'm more forgiving if you're like at least you're trying to be considerate.
Yeah.
But when you just are showing like I have zero consider, this theater is mine and everyone else be damned, and fortunately it was only like the last like 15 minutes of the film that it really kicked in like that. And that's a big, massive action part, and I didn't have to worry about so much dialogue. But it was like you said, once it becomes apparent and you're aware, you can't like the struggle to tune it out is real.
Ultimately, I the thing is, I kind of calmed down. I'm watching, and it's really cool. It's really good, and I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of cool. I'm watching. I'm looking at all the details and motherfucker.
There was so many people talking when Secrets of Dumbledore came out. Like there was like I think there was like multiple groups of people just talking normally, and I was like, I think I put out a tweet. I even said I was like, yeah, okay, the movie was good, but remember, you're at a fucking movie theater.
Yeah, it's one thing. It's like Ash said, if you're like, because I do this with Gail sometimes where I'll go, yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I would never even think of just sitting in my chair. Hey, did you know this is about to happen? Because I only want to ruin. Gail doesn't mind. Gail wants to know what's
the only person that does that is your dad.
Yeah, my dad did that on Sixth Sense. Yeah, I told that story. We decided to spend. It was going to be like a double date. Me and Gail and my dad and my mom, we went out to dinner, and then we went to see this new movie, The Sixth Sense. And you guys know the big twist. By now, it's in the lexicon. It's like Psycho. It's like Psycho. You don't even have to know the movie to know.
I've never seen it.
Ending. But you know the ending. Yeah. So anywho, my dad and my mom, we got there late, and so they sat in the front. We had two seats higher up. And in the middle of the movie, we just hear this, and it's like a commotion, not like a fight or anything, but like a commotion. People are getting upset in the lower area where my dad was. And I asked, I said, well, what happened? And my mom was pissed. And she goes, your dad said, oh, he's dead, and freaking ruined it for everybody.
Oh, jeez.
It was the first showing too. It was like, it wasn't like, this has been out for a week. It was day one. So everybody said my dad has been doing that my entire life. We went and saw this great film. I was into it. I'm like, it was called DOA with Dennis Quaid and one of the wet bandits, the tall wet bandit. He's got a name. What's
Daniel
his name?
Stern.
Daniel Stern. Yeah, and it's Dennis Quaid gets killed by poison, so now he's got to basically figure out who did it. And my dad leans over and goes, it's Daniel Stern. Remember, he gave him, not only did he tell me who it was, but he told me why it was. And I was like, oh God, no. All throughout, I'm like, let it be something different. Just let it be something different. It was exactly how my dad.
When I was about 6, I watched Aragon with my dad, or whenever the heck that came out. That movie with the dragon.
That came out 2004.
Jeremy Irons. So I was about 5 when that movie came out. I didn't know how to use my voice, so when dragons were going about and doing the thing, I leaned over to my dad and like yell. I was like, "Are dragons real?" And obviously, dragons aren't real. And so like two rows of just people just turned back and like laughing because they're like, "Oh, a 5-year-old's just wondering if the dragons are." Yeah, little things like that aren't a big deal, but like it's just when you're like talking up a storm with a normal voice and not even trying to be considerate. It's like when it
goes on and on. If one little outburst is no big deal.
If it's a family film, I expect kids to talk, or they'll say something to the screen. My daughter, we went and saw Bugs Life. We went and saw Mighty Joe Young Bugs Life. It was a double feature.
Oh,
at a
nice.
theater. It was, she loved them both. But we're watching Bugs Life, and at the beginning where all the seeds and everything spill in the lake.
Yeah,
oh no, he made a mess, and like the theater just laughed as like an because when it happens like that, it's an moment. You just go, oh, that's so cute. Yeah, I don't mind if we're in a family film and kids are talking. Kids are gonna talk.
Hey, real quick shout out to Twitless. He says City of Heroes is still the best superhero video game.
Yep.
I find no.
No, Steve Jones. Steve
I
Jones,
find no
but-
fake news there.
By the
I
way,
see
you
that.
just said twidless and not twitless. I'm telling
I
you,
said twitless.
it's not just me.
He
We're
did say
used to-
twitless.
We're used to
Twitless.
twiddles, so he comes along and we've got twiddles.
He said twitless.
I
He
heard
said
twitless.
twitless.
Yeah.
Am I really just hearing twid when it's really twit because of my bird? Okay, it's all on me. All on me.
Marania says my dad drove me nuts when we went to see Jaws. He kept asking me something when something would happen. I kept telling him that we'll just watch. He got caught by the jump scare.
That was a great. I mean, you guys were alive when Jaws was in theaters.
Was he holding the drink?
It was a great jump scare.
It was. That is annoying. I gotta speak it.
Oh, and
Oh wait, Ash, you were alive then too, weren't you?
Oh yeah, that Jaws got me, man. Dude, I was one of those kids who could not go to the beach for a long time.
I was. I actually was. I was afraid of the bath. My brother convinced me that the shark could swim through the pipes.
Oh wow!
Yeah, guys, come on.
That's on you, E.
I was
That's
like
just on
5.
you.
I was 5. Okay.
That's how impressed. That's a good testimony to have the impressionability of kids.
So
I just never mind. I lost it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Marania is actually telling you how your dad knew that. He watched the original DOA.
Maybe.
I bet you it's probably the same thing, just different casts.
Yeah, it was a remake. I did see the original, and both of them are good. My brother can't do it anymore, of course. And he couldn't do it after I reached the age of reason. But also, when I was, we watched a kind of it was a clip show for horror films, and the term psychopath kept getting brought up. So I was like, "What's a psychopath?" And my brother convinced me it was an actual pathway that you walk down where killers can. So he says, and it goes right through the hallway to our room. So I was afraid to go home, to go to our bed when my mom and dad said, "Okay, it's time for bed." I was like, I don't want to go.
There's a psychopath in the hallway.
There's a psychopath. I don't want to walk in the psychopath.
Ominous Nocturne. Double date with your parents. Well, that's something new.
Well, what else are you gonna call it? Me and my wife went out with my mom and dad. You know, it was
It's called meeting the parents.
Yeah. Well, we were already married. It was just let's go out. We're gonna go out to dinner. You want to come? Okay, come on in. You know, and we
free meal.
No, I don't think so. I think we went Dutch. What was that? What's that place we went to? It started with a T or TG or what was that?
Mm-mm.
It's kind of like a Fridays, that restaurant chain.
TGI Fridays?
No, it's something different.
Red Robin?
They're
Burger
no
King?
longer around anymore.
Burger King? McDonald's?
Ruby?
Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know a
I don't
Tuesday
do
was in. Yeah,
Ruby
Ruby
Tuesdays
Tuesdays.
is, man, I miss those. That was like the good version of those type
I've
of
never
restaurants.
been.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they were a higher quality, but they must have not known business as well because they went the way of the dodo.
Man, I saw you're gonna say Sizzler for how old you are.
Well, you gotta make sure you gotta use Applebee's quality product in order to make those profits.
How do you get kicked out of an Applebee's?
So
this past 2 months I sat down and finally watched The Godfather Part 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, yeah, we still haven't seen Godfather 3 yet in our little rewatch. So what did you think, Jimmy? Because this is your first time watching the movies, right?
Yeah, I've since watching it the first one a couple months ago, I've rewatched it 3 times. And I think it could be my 3rd favorite movie ever made.
Okay.
It's fantastic. The second one, in my opinion, is not as good as the first one, but still top tier quality. And the third one, I don't know why people don't like it. I think it was a solid conclusion to
2 words: Sofia Coppola.
Was that the daughter?
Yes.
Yes.
The most
She was-
horrendous
okay,
acting
but
that like
also-
it's
She was
thrown,
hot.
it just derails that film.
Also, Ash, you gotta ask another question. Did you see the new director's cut?
No, I'm curious about how that changes things.
Yeah, because see,
Dakota?
Jimmy may have just seen that.
Oh.
Which version of the 3rd movie did you see?
I saw the new cut where it's called Dakota.
Yeah, that wasn't the one that we all saw at the theaters. You saw the director's cut.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
a new.
okay.
That's
I
like a
didn't know
new
that.
redo of the film.
It's just good.
I really like
the movie.
Godfather 3 is a good movie. Like, it was nominated for Best
I agree.
Picture.
But
It's
don't
just
get
when
horrible.
you
It was
compare
bad.
it. It's when you compare it to the first two. The first two are so good. You're like, how do you live up to that?
Masterpieces.
It's kind of like Spider-Man 3. Like, Spider-Man 3 is not as bad as people make it up to be, but the first two were so amazing that you go, oh man, what happened?
Yep.
That's true. It could just been they lost that lightning in the bottle.
Hold on, Tevya. Let's just speak after Jimmy. Okay.
I think they just probably lost that lightning in a bottle. Like, they kind of just became bankrupt after the story because, like, okay, well, because originally, what was it? What's his name? Al Pacino wanted to have a bigger pay. Was it $9 million or something like that? And Francis Ford Coppola said, well, if you're going to do that, I'll kill you off in the first chapter or first couple pages. Like, so he didn't even really have an idea of what the story was going to be until they figured out who the cast was.
Yeah.
So I think that could have changed it a bit.
Damn it, Twitless. I gave you props earlier, and then you got to come in and say that.
All right. So, Tevya, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I know Maria Spider-Man 3. Sony met the movie and it butchered that thing to hell, but I forgot for 3. Godfather 3 I heard was 50-50. It's not strong in the first year, obviously, that is impossible. You know, if you're masterpieces. So
yeah, he's right. You're right. You're 100% right, Tevya. It was written well as well because there was like almost an incestuous key element to the flick that was Sophia, whatever, and the new Don. What's his name?
Andy Garcia.
Andy Garcia, yeah, him. And they were cousins. And if you can get me to like buy into that sort of relationship, to almost want them to be together, you've written a good relationship, I should say, I guess, or characters.
That was actually only his like second or third movie, Andy Garcia.
Yeah, his third movie.
Really?
Yeah, because I think his first one was Untouchables.
All right.
Oh,
talk about classic movie. Whew.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Is that the one with Kevin Costner, written by David Mamet? The Al Capone one?
Yeah.
So here's a question. So, E, did you hear about this?
What are we hearing about?
DC comic booth. All the booths are out.
On Game of Thrones, Sandman and Warner's, and DC booth out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they're not going in.
Yeah, the company is headed it's making big changes to approach Comic-Con's various divisions to make their first appearance. Due to the pandemic, for the first time, Warner Bros., including DC, will have no presence on the convention floor. A move that breaks with decades of the precedent. The company has one bigger presence on the floor with movie and TV costumes on display. In some years, A-list stars such as the cast of Justice League or Watchmen appeared for signings.
Now, I think that do they go into further detail, because that may be because of obviously because Discovery took them, but also if you watch. You look, Disney has decided to make all these big announcements on Disney Plus and on their D20 and all that kind of stuff. So they figured, why are we giving them all the exclusives when we could draw more eyeballs over to our stuff? Warner Brothers may be taking the same approach. Why give someone else all the exclusives and the eyeballs when we can pull them in?
Yeah, but this isn't. Yeah. This is DC Comics.
Yeah.
Disney made that decision for the films.
Oh, this is all,
this said Warner Bros. As well. It said.
Yeah, I thought I saw that they were talking about the.
Yeah, first time Warner.
Yeah, but the big story, is that DC Comics,
including DC,
is
Comics,
not going to be.
Holy shit!
No one's going like, oh, there's not going to be a Warner Brothers presence. Okay, well, whatever. But DC Comics, I don't think DC Comics has ever missed a San Diego Comic-Con.
What I
it's the
think
biggest
is
Comic-Con
weird
in the world.
We've been saying that Comic-Con has stopped being about comics a long time ago, and this is like the nail in the coffin right here.
So
I got it. No, it's not. No, it's not. I got it right here. I got the answer.
Okay.
Go back to about 2001. Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti kind of like retook Marvel into their own thing. What they did for the first time was didn't go to Comic-Con. They stopped that. Why? So they could save money to put that money to better use to make Marvel better, which ended up benefiting them later on. And
no, Disney buying them benefited them.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
They were going into bankruptcy and spiraling out of control.
It's still again that proves another point. The regime changed over there for the better. This could be the same thing happening over here at Warner Bros.
Whoa! Did you just say one more day? Joe Quesada made it better.
I hate that story.
Yes, he did.
Ooh.
Up until
he
Siege ended. But that's a different story. But the regime changed over at Warner Bros. With arguably a better person in charge with Zaslav, and he's taken what could have been spending thousands and thousands of dollars, and now just using that towards something else to probably make it better for DC and Warner Bros. So that's my thought behind it, because there's like parallels between the two, and we'll see where it can go from there.
So another big change says several of the CW series, including Flash and Lois and a coming Supernatural prequel, will be as absent as the network is facing a possible sale. We all saw it cancel a lot of stuff. So what were they saying? They're saying that there's going to be another merger or who bought it? I guess it was
Discovery.
No, so
Discovery.
Hold on. Let Ash finish what he was saying.
Discovery is part of Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is part of AT&T. So you got to think of it as like the gigantic mega corporate pyramid, right? So AT&T owns all these subsidiary companies like Warner's. They own Discovery and blah blah blah. Probably tons of other things too. Previously, DC Comics was part under Warner Brothers, but now that there's a higher tier above it, AT&T is shuffling the DC portion away from Warner's and over to Discovery, because I guess they feel Discovery is better. Man, I don't know what they're doing.
No, AT&T doesn't own. They sold it to Discovery.
They sold it to Discovery.
That's why when Discovery bought it from AT&T, there was a merger. That's why it's called Warner Bros. Discovery now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Warner's is owned by AT&T.
Not anymore. I don't believe so. Let me look. I don't want to speak out of my ass here. Let me look.
Yeah, the whole reason that there's a regime change at DC Comics is because AT&T stepped in and fired all the the top dogs and replaced them with AT&T people.
Yep.
Now I could be wrong about things. I haven't followed this high level stuff because that closely, but that was the last. So, anyways,
okay,
if I'm right about it, that what that means is.
Who's at the diner?
Yeah.
Tavia, mute your mic, man. Can't.
AT&T and Discovery closed Warner Media transaction to combine the Warner Media business with Discovery.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a bunch of, like I said, bunch of top level corporate shuffling of assets and things like that. And DC is just a small fish in a big pond. And so I guess Warner Brothers probably didn't want anything to do with it. And Discovery is more of the entertainment division. I don't know. Nothing. I've worked with AT&T for a long time, and nothing they've ever done's made sense to me. And so here we go. I think this is. I don't think it's not proof of anything, but it feels like writing is on the wall, like for DC Comics. I don't know what's going to happen. This is bad news, though, that you're not going to have the oldest comics publisher in America at perhaps the oldest Comic-Con, in the biggest Comic-Con in the world. Like, it just, yikes. And I'm sure it's probably to save money. I'm sure that there's all sorts of budgetary things that's going on, but that's indicative of the problems. And, we got a peek at these problems a couple years back before Didio got fired, when he made that announcement at one of the trade shows where he admitted that 25% of the DC comics don't even break even. So we know, and DC was doing a lot better sales-wise then than they are now.
Yeah,
so my guess is that we have a lot of comics at DC that are in the red, and some higher ups are just like, yeah, we're not going to justify, because I think this article talks about how many millions of, like $20 million or something that they spend doing these convention promos and things like that. It's a ton of money.
And of course, we've talked about this over and over, but I think they have to start putting their profits above their ESG score. It's just not working. They don't have the right kind of writers on. It's dying on the vine, and it's because they're chasing an ESG score rather than profits. You got to chase those profits.
So this is what they're gonna have. That they will have there. House of Dragon, HBO's biggest news shows, I guess. It's a reset of the Game of Thrones franchise.
Yeah, it's the Targaryen story.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a prequel to Game of Thrones, and then we got a sequel series with Jon Snow.
Well, Jon Snow's still in the works. They don't. It's not greenlit. It's not anything. They're just they're working on it before it gets greenlit. But the House of the Dragon is actually going to be, I think, pretty good because it is actually based off a finished piece of work.
All right, so that's going to be there. Netflix Sandman is another one that we get in Hall H with a special video presentation followed by Q&A with the series stars and producers. Riverdale, no one cares.
Riverdale's crap.
Is Neil Gaiman going to be at the Sandman thing?
Didn't say. It just said stars.
I've actually lost faith in the Sandman, and I guess this is just indicative of the time. Also, I'm losing faith anytime the fans get insulted. Like if you've got a vision for something, fine, but when the fans tell you, I think you might be going in the wrong way, and you insult them, and you don't have an explanation for it, you just think the insult is enough. I think I've lost faith in because name the time that they've done that where it's turned out well.
So
Neil Gaiman personally insulted me when talking about Sandman. We had an interaction.
Jimmy, it's not all about you, okay?
No. It was about death being race swapped, and it had Constantine being gender swapped and all that. And I was like, listen, as long as you write a well-written piece, I'll be okay with it. Just make it true to the characters. And he kind of came out with me with a snarky, self-righteous response, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I don't even care.
So Miranda brings up a good point. Maybe they don't want to be there because of the PR nightmares with both Ezra Miller and Amber Heard in the film.
Don't treat it better. I don't want to tell it over again.
I don't. But that's not a bad point, and I'm sure they're looking to avoid those things. But DC Comics has nothing to do with Warner Brothers Entertainment. You guys got to remember, unlike Marvel has their own in-house studio that makes the movies. DC does not. DC is owned, or previously was owned, by a greater company, Warner Brothers, but they were an autonomous subsidiary, meaning Warner Brothers didn't dictate what they did. They just let them do their thing. Now, Warner Brothers, because they owned them, didn't have to pay the rights. And so it made it easy for all these films to be made in-house through Warner Brothers, unlike when Marvel, because they went bankrupt or almost went bankrupt 2 decades ago, sold all their rights to Fox and Sony so they could recoup money. And then now we saw what happened. Like, they can't get Spider-Man back, and they only got the Fox stuff back because Disney ended up buying Fox. But DC's never had that problem. But it's to go along with that, it's not an in-house company. Warner Brothers doesn't give two shits about DC except for what they can make money with. But they don't think like, ooh, this is our baby. So that they don't care. And so I don't think there's an issue with that. Warner Brothers probably does not want to talk about their films. That's for sure. But DC Comics could be there talking about the big events for the summer, what they're going to do for the fall, and just talk comics. And
Yeah.
The fact that they're not doing that is mind-boggling to me.
Some of the speculation, I was reading some of the different articles on the internet. We're saying like, well, some of the movies are far out, you know, to like next year, so they're not really focusing on. They're too far out, maybe that's why. But regardless, we're gonna have Tom Taylor and Tom King there. Yay!
Oh well,
yay!
I retract everything.
Kill me.
It says DC publisher and CCO Jim Lee will headline a showcase of upcoming DC books with sneak peeks and creators. There will be a panel stacked with Batman-centric comic writers and artists, while superstar writers Tom Taylor and Tom King will have a conversation about their work.
Superstar
I know, right?
Talking about modern day DC Comics.
Yeah,
it's not like, hey, these are superstar writers. They are modern day DC comic superstar writers.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
It tells me that they're just using the term superstar with no meaning.
Yes,
exactly.
Tom Taylor barely sells any books, like, and the ones that he does sell is because they're special events. Like, people cared about Infamous because there was a massive product line around it that people cared about. Deceased was kind of lightning in a bottle. And it was pretty decently well done, but Tom
really
Taylor
good.
on Superman, like that book does not sell.
No, it doesn't.
He's not a superstar.
All right.
Look at who they're standing next to. Look who they're standing next to as far as superstar writers. What do you have that? What's her name? The one that did Detective Comics. You've got Vita.
That's not a superstar.
You got what? Well, listen to what I'm saying. You got Mark Russell. You've got all these people who are writing their agenda rather than the characters. So when you look at them, Brian Michael Bendis and Tom Taylor, superstar writers.
Okay, with Mark Russell, he writes his agenda, but I think he does it at a high quality.
If those guys are superstar writers, then what do you call like Jeff Johns?
He is superstar writer.
What do you call the actual superstar writer?
Robert Venditti.
No, he's not a superstar either. He's a great writer, but you have to establish Ed Brubaker is a superstar writer. He's a great writer, but he's not a superstar. He hasn't made his name yet. But Jeff Johns is a superstar.
Not existing at DC anymore. What's he been doing? What has he done lately?
No, he's working on Dark Crisis. Jeff Johns is doing Dark Crisis along with Jeremy Adams.
Well, I am shut up then.
Actually, no, it's not so great. No, you got it back. It's 5 and Beyond he's writing.
Where's Dan Jurgens?
Dan Jurgens, trying to think what he's writing now.
Because I remember the last thing he wrote was Batman Beyond, and here someone was reading it said it was good.
No, hold on.
Blue and
Gold that's the last one, yeah.
It's not yet been solicited to anything in the future yet, so keep an eye out on the solicitations.
But Dark Crisis, is with the actually a Flashpoint. It's Flashpoint Beyond, but
Flashpoint Beyond.
He's doing that, but he's also going to be working on Dark Crisis as well. Currently, that's I think the first issue is going to be out next month.
I think it's issue 3 coming out,
or issue 3, yeah.
Regardless
of all, all the great writers of the past are not acknowledged anymore because they are old, and DC is like, we got to be the new, we got to be the virtue signaling, we got to just ignore everything else. That's why Chuck Dixon will never come back because they don't want him back. And even
well, Chuck Dixon's a matter of politics. Like, Chuck Dixon is unapologetically hardcore conservative.
They will take Greg Buck over Chuck Dixon any day. Yeah.
Oh, no, I agree. Chuck Dixon's great.
Yeah.
DC Comics is doing the Disney cut.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does that mean? I'm confused.
Okay, the Disney cut, if I were to put it bluntly, you remember the crap of The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, all that nonsense?
I remember. Why?
Destroy the past to rebuild the future. I'm sorry. If you want to rebuild the future, you need to learn from the fucking past. Sorry
Alright.
about the
Let
language,
the
but
cat guide
That's our
never
second
drop
one.
a whole option.
Oh no, I dropped a few.
Oh, did you?
F-bombs.
So have I.
Real quickly, we'll get to the super check in a second. I just want to finish up this article, then we talk about that. So animation, we're gonna have a Green Lantern movie, cartoon coming out. It's gonna be on HBO Max. You're also gonna have a Gremlins: Secret of the Mogwai, a new series, voiced in the stars, executive producers. It's going to Cartoon Network. Will have a multi-show featuring Craig of the Creek, Who Cares, Teen Titans Go, still on, and We Baby Bears, whatever. As far as that, Rick and Morty, and then Harley Quinn season 3.
Yay!
The Green Lantern. It's called Green Lantern: Beware My Power. A Gotham Knights video game. A look inside of the making of that, and then some wrestling, AEW wrestling. But yeah.
If it's John Stewart,
No Young Justice,
I'll be okay with.
what the fuck? We're gonna see.
Hey, Tevye, we just said about that. You just go out and just swear as loud as you can. All right. So,
swear during time. I think I'd like to point out, if I may, and this
can
is
I
something
say
I
hello
think
to you, because we haven't said hello to you at all.
Hello.
Is that Twitless? Welcome.
How's it going?
The hosts of the show don't like to welcome guests on the panel, so I will say.
Hey, Ash, if I get a word in.
No, you can't.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not the host tonight. Oh.
I couldn't get a word in. Everybody's just talking over each other. So
yeah, now you know what it's like.
Twitless, you have the floor.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. The floor is now lava.
Not the mic. You watch that show too?
So, one thing I think is interesting, and it kind of touches on some of the stuff that you guys are saying, but I definitely think that this is indicative of a turn, and it's a sad turn. And if I were to, I'm trying to articulate what I'm seeing, but it's a turn that takes comics away from being more of, I would say, a participatory medium into one that is very much about corporate and consumer. Because if you think about what a comic book convention has often been, right, and what a booth is, right, it's the opportunity for people to come and approach and talk with a creator, maybe get some signed merch, but it's also an opportunity to do some networking, to talk. Maybe we have stories about people who got jobs because they were fans at conventions and were able to, I've got a comic book idea. And that's kind of how these companies function. They were much more, how do I put this? They had a more, a smaller mindset, I guess, or a mindset that was able to be more participatory with the consumers. Right. And I remember talking to somebody at a convention a few years ago, and he put together like art books. And so he would coordinate with like Marvel and DC. And he said, well, I used to be able to call Marvel and DC and talk to the editor in chief, you know, just like pick up the phone, call, talk to the editor in chief, and then even be able to say, hey, can I make a deal to get some of your art permission to put together an art book? And he said, now I call and I get put onto the Disney, robo call, and it's just pure corporatism. And so DC removing themselves, right? And so what the presentation from the article says that they're going to have is trailers and panels where you can have curated Q&As, right? And so you don't have as much of the ability to kind of like approach your favorite creators, strike up a conversation, get lucky, and maybe find yourself at a bar and suddenly you're talking about and maybe even getting a job offer, right? Which is how this industry used to kind of work. And so it's just that's to me, I think, the really tragic writing on the wall. It's not just more of the same content that we don't want to see. It's a very disheartening look at the fact that the old stories of getting into the industry, breaking in, being able to start relationships with comic book creators seem to be coming. The dynamic is changing to being curated panels and trailers for products that consumers can get super excited about. Like that's the model that it's being taken to. And like I said, you don't have the Batmania with Bill Joe White. You don't have like people saying, I'm going to start a Batman fanzine that gets the blessing of DC Comics and stuff like that anymore. You get
capitalization, I think, is what you're thinking of.
Well, corporation.
Capitalization is what you do in the beginning of a sentence.
Yes. Sorry, I'm taking too long.
Capitalization or whatever.
That's all right.
Capitalism.
It's just capitalism is. Like when they see
communism and
All right, Jimmy, you can go.
this is just basically what capitalism is. Whenever there's like a way to earn money, that big companies see a way to earn money or extra income, they're just gonna go full ham on it. So I don't know. This is just what happened with Comic-Con.
Can I say something real quickly? When you're done talking, raise your hand so we know.
We'll do RDV.
Because everybody's jumping in when no one's done. All right, Jimmy, continue if you have more.
Wow.
All right. I guess.
By the way, thank you very much, Rhaegar. I want to hear Ash defend the great plot of GOT.
That's fantastic. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? GOT? Wait, Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones was a freaking that was a great show. What are you talking about? It didn't stick the landing, but you're not gonna freaking sit here and tell me that the entire goddamn show was bad just because of 2 or 3 bad issues in the very last season. You can shove that shit right up your ass. I'm sorry, but it just don't work that way. This whole thing, I mean, if you're black pilled, just announce, hey, I'm fucking black pilled, all right? I hate fucking everything, especially if it doesn't go the way I want it to because it said in the book. Oh, give it up. The entirety. Like Game of Thrones didn't become a fucking cultural phenomenon because it wasn't great for up until every moment that George Martin had written. Jesus Christ.
No.
Bad fucking plot of Game of Thrones.
But it's important. It's important.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I'm going to go back to looking for good lots to bid on while RDV takes care of this shit show.
I was just telling you the F-bombs in a row there. Like I said, if this gets demonetized, it's not my problem.
Yeah. By the way, also, I know I've dropped a lot of F-bops.
For those who are wondering, we don't ask for super chats, but if you want to give us Ko-Fi, donations, we get actually the whole profit of that. Screw YouTube.
Screw you. Yeah, that's basically it. Ko-Fi is the way to say F you, YouTube. You're not getting the money, but we do accept and appreciate super chats. And yes, thank you very much for the super chat. And take it with a grain of salt. I'm not actually yelling and screaming, and I'm not angry or anything.
It's all scripted. That's why
it's just busting balls. That's all.
I want to.
It's just busting nuts.
All right, Twitless.
Huh? Oh no! I was just going to say, since Eggle Team was asking for people to mark themselves as black pilled, I was going to say I have to officially claim that title.
But okay, but the thing is, you're not telling me that the entirety of Game of Thrones is bad because of the bad last season.
No, I don't think that might be a little much. That might be going a little far.
The last 2 seasons were bad, but like from seasons 1 through 6. Absolutely some of the best television I've ever seen.
I would actually go so far to say that even in the 8th season, there were a couple of good shows. Unfortunately, and I said this as soon as I heard it, when they ran out of material, the Daves, I think they were called, announced that they wanted to go do something else. They said that they were tired of doing Game of Thrones. And my thinking was, well, then they need to be replaced. Yeah, but it didn't matter what the reason was they wanted to leave. As soon as they mentioned they wanted to leave, they should have been replaced. Find somebody who wants that show. George R.R. Martin himself said, I don't know why they did what they did because I gave them a good 10 seasons worth of material. And they shortened it up. They screwed it up. But yeah, there you go.
It was funny because I remember they were doing the last season of Game of Thrones, and then J.R. Martin, I think he also do Night Flyers? That show that came on Sci-Fi, and it was immediately canceled, like right after it even finished.
Yes.
Well, the thing with Martin is all of his stuff are high concept. So you have to have a big budget to do it. And if you go to Sci-Fi Channel with an idea from Martin, it's not going to work out because you just don't got the budget for it.
Yep.
The only thing about also the only real thing that weirds me out about the whole black pill situation, Twitless, is the way it seems like woohoo, we won something because that failed. It's the expressing accomplishment because Ms. Marvel didn't get the ratings that the other shows did.
Accomplishment.
That's the weird thing. That's the weird thing. It gets, oh my gosh, did you see this flopped? Yay, we win.
No, there is a thing behind it.
So let me.
Oh, hold on. Let Twitless respond since I actually said his name.
I've been summoned. So one thing that I think is going on is when you get disillusioned with a piece of media and you see the endless empty applause that it gets, you end up feeling a little gaslit. You feel like you're the only sane person in the world and everyone else is crazy. And so when you're able to kind of see at least some justification for your worldview, I think there's some of the celebration comes from that. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy. Other people are recognizing this. The show is, it's tanking, and that it validates my worldview a bit because there is so much rabid marketing that surrounds these shows, even when they put out an episode or a season or an entire show that's just not written well. And it gets people wept at the trailer for The Rise of Skywalker. Like, people were crying like it was the birth of their children. Like, just the mental difference.
It's not
and
just
cognitive dissonance that you go through there.
Well, what you're bringing up then is okay. You go, Jimmy. I'll go after.
It's not just that. It's also like, because when if you're blackpilled to say like Marvel movies and they tank, it's because you feel like as they're not doing the best they can. They're just throwing out another Marvel movie. So when one tanks, it is a great thing for us to show to Disney that, hey, this is doing bad because you're not putting the best you can. Make it better, it'll make more money. It just goes, if it keeps tanking, they'll change something and hopefully it'll be better. It's not just, I don't know how to put it. It's not just yay, the movie sucks. No, it's yay, the movie sucks. Hopefully they get the idea now and change something to make the next movie better.
I can buy into the validation, and this is something that when you're a person like myself, I think two of the best things that ever happened to me as far as my self-esteem is accepting the fact that I don't give a what anybody says except for my wife and kids, and the Buddhism. I don't know what Ash did or what it seems like we don't search out validation. I know there's a few of you like this. You don't search out validation from stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. My self-esteem is way too strong to go, woo, opinion validated. What's up, Tevye?
Yeah. I thought my thoughts on that topic is saying interesting and so forth, but honestly, I don't give it any fail to win. All I care is a good product. And if it's bad, then I'll say it's bad and I move up from life. I don't give it if it fails, then fine, whatever, who cares? It was a bad movie. And I move up in life. Like, I don't keep bashing trying to have John McCready. But I do want to read the comments of the I need to talk about it with John McCready. What was it? So Comic-Con is
Jenna McCurdy?
No.
Oh.
No, I said McCready, not yeah. Continue. But anyway, back on track. If I go back to the comic for a sec, I'm confused. Why is San Diego Comic-Con after you over DC? This should be DC's comeback. Like, where's the big lion? Where's Tomasi? Where's Peter Tomasi? I want him back in DC. Like, give me back Human Barry, damn it. Like, forget all the Bendis nonsense. Let them Bendis shop and just give it a good DC again. We have German Flag with the main right now. There are the main right now with Johnson Wilson. With unfortunately the enemy BS readings. Like, there's so many good books out there, the world finest. with a great story. Like, where are the other kids DC books? Why are they marketing those books? Forget Batman 27. Market other characters. Like, it's just crazy. DC refuses to market other characters. It's like Batman 27. Hi, Brady.
Oh, speaking of the Super Sons, Tickaholic, I'm he made a on his website. He made a great article about the Super Sons that I DM'd you about this, but I'll say it right here.
The message back in regards to that.
Tickaholic?
Yep.
It's a video, and not only is it a video, but if you do it right, if you do the editing right, put some good pictures in it, do a voiceover, make sure you're scripted. I think it's an evergreen. I think it's one of those that'll be it'll always feed your channel. I think that you wrote a very strong article. And if you want to leave the link or put the link in right now, leave the link in the comment section. Yeah, I highly recommend everybody.
Tickaholic, it is your time to monologue. Shill this channel.
Yeah.
All right. First things first, I will actually share the article.
All right. Also, if anybody else in the chat has a topic we haven't talked about tonight,
all right,
let us know.
All right. Could you make sure that gets put out?
Sure. Just go. Let me know when you're sharing it.
All right. What I was going to talk about was in regards to DC Comics. I'm not too sure how many people have sort of been watching the pattern of, say, the DC Comics YouTube channel, and in regards to what's happening with their own panels. And I think this would actually make sense as to why they are going ahead with things being done this way. Because, of course, we had the stuff in relation to the Pride agenda. On top of that, we have also had, in the last couple of years, considering the crap that's been going on, we have had a lot of live streams as well as panels and whatever else coming direct from the DC Comics YouTube channel. And this is where I can see it going. All right, because they're starting to see, okay, we can actually save money without having to go to the San Diego Comic-Con, which is, of course, a big thing for them, but it's also the best way for them to get in touch with their audience.
I got a question.
When it comes to the audience that is on YouTube, for example, one thing that DC doesn't do is reply to the audience comments.
I'll piggyback off that for just a second. When they did SDC, San Diego Comic-Con from home, and they've done that for a couple of years, you'll notice that none of the videos that are uploaded are live streamed, and there is no comment section allowed. It's literally just, here's a panel, and they just slap it up on the SDCC YouTube channel, and that they call it a day. There's literally zero engagement from the audience that could have happened, and so it definitely is a very different model for presenting the material, and it's non-participatory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very bad. It was a bad panel. It was called crap from SDCC on home. Hi, Brady.
This is officially the Twiddles cut.
Hello. Can I help you?
Don't cut Twiddles. Are you talking about Twitless or Twiddles?
Twiddles.
I think he won something.
I apologize for those who have headphones on. Take them off.
Right?
The next 5 minutes.
But best thing ever.
If I take my headphones off, I won't be able to participate.
Can you mute them on?
There you go. Let me mute my mic since he's right next to it.
Yeah, glasses.
Hey, I have a question. Because once I'm done with it, I'm about to leave.
Yay!
So, I have I want to do a video for Comic Quirks, so I was thinking like I want to start up controversies again by doing another tier list. And I was thinking a tier list for either the X-Men, Marvel characters in general, or Justice League.
I say go Marvel comics in general.
What are you rating?
We're doing a tier list of the
like
characters.
their power levels, how cool they are. Like what's the metric?
Oh, great storyline.
Exactly, and that's what causes controversy.
I see.
I just do it and just piss people off.
It's whatever arbitrary traits Jimmy decides to.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Whichever one I like the best, pretty much.
Nice.
This character was written by Jonathan Hickman, so it's A tier. This other character was before his time, so
Cyclops.
That's my number one.
Wait. No.
Objection. Hickman doesn't write characters.
wait.
That's almost true.
One at a time, guys. So A tier would be Jason Aaron. B would be Bendis, right?
No.
no, dude. Those are S tier on Jimmy's chart.
You know what? It's funny because they actually were S
tier on Jimmy's.
So I'm just slowly going through these covers. Every single one of these covers beats out anything that's out right now.
Yep. I love Super Sons.
Was that Lee Bermejo? Who did that cover?
That's Dynamite. That's Blue Falcon.
Might be. I'm not sure who the cover on is.
Yeah, that's
actually in Party Series.
That is one of the greatest books. Who wrote that again?
Tomasi wrote that story.
Yeah, that is one of the greatest comic books released in like single issues released in the last 6 or 7
I love
years.
that story. It's such a great story. And the fan Super Sons, he made me smile.
And then DC proceeded to kick Tomasi out the door.
With his bullshit.
Hey,
yeah, why
he is no Vita Ayala, sir.
No,
well, that's true.
DC
I mean, who
decided
is?
to fail upwards
By hiring Bendis, one of the worst mistakes ever, who destroyed Superman with crap. Just went, come on. He just went banned for garbage.
How dare you impugn the honor of the Balloon Lord?
Yep. Hypercube.
Pennywise?
Hey.
All right, Ash, I'm making an X-Men tier list just for you.
And then we get to this. Oh, look at this.
Oh yeah, that's Super Son special is the one, the final Super Son book.
Yeah, that's Superman and Robin one.
Which is a good story. But you can tell Tomasi's pissed off with Bendis. I'm pissed off as well, boy. I'm still mad. And
have a good one.
Bye, Jimmy.
Night, Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
Night, Jimmy.
Personally, I think he's pissed off at both Bendis and Taylor.
I agree.
The way that story was written.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is,
I don't blame him.
The direction that comics have gone actually makes Bendis look a lot better. I'm kind of like, oh, man.
Even more messed up. Why?
So I just noticed that Tehillim's typed all of this. How long did it take you? How long did it take you to do all this?
I started working on it when I got home from picking up my comics yesterday, and it ended up taking me, say, majority. So I got home around a little after midday, and I just wanted to do something after getting home, whatever else, and I thought, let's just do something on something that I love. This is something that I love, being the Super Sons. It ends up on the Joker's Wild one.
Tavia liked this. He already knew about it. And tell us.
I shared it to as many people as possible, and I also thank you for the feedback as well.
Only one blogger likes this.
In regards to the article.
Oh,
no worries.
You got a lot in here.
And I saw something sort of like come up in a little bit of a conversation, like some of like the Twitter discussion. And one thing that isn't really addressed is actually the friends that the Super Sons actually make in the series.
Yep.
And I thought, okay, I might use this as an opportunity to actually address that issue, because I've not seen like any other channel sort of like cover it in full. And I thought, okay, I might as well cover it. Show to people who they have had interactions with. Of course, bring in some of the characters that are connected, say, in relation to the Robin Son of Batman run, which is done by Patrick Gleason, and a little bit afterwards by PJ Crowell. Not many know about his comics, but he did actually cover some Damian Wayne stories, not only in the Teen Titans, but also the Robin Son of Batman. He also worked on Bloodlines, I think it was, DC Bloodlines.
Bloodlines.
And I'm really disappointed that they sort of haven't brought that out in, say, like a proper trade paperback, because there's 6 issues to the series, and for what he wrote, he can actually write a really good comic. So I tried to bring as many characters over as possible that they have had interactions, have made friends with, and yes, it includes the Bat family, Superman family, Justice League, and whatever else you happen to see on that list.
So I know something. You put Flatline not be a friend, but I kind of like Flatline. I think she's a cool character.
I can understand that, but I'm sort of like looking at it because there are people who are sort of like wanting to ship those characters too fast, and that's why I say, okay, no to you and no to you. I included Jay Nakamura in that no list, that no friend zone list.
Yeah,
the guy's a freaking terrorist. And of course, Flatline, because this character also looks like someone who would probably do a bit of a mix of Natalia, like a slight betrayal of the character, but also take advantage of the character in a little bit of essence in relation to one issue that came up was the stealing of Damian's heart. And that she sort of feels like a combination of a little bit of Catwoman and a little bit of Talia. But she's also working for a big bad guy, which is Lord Deathman.
Her mentor. He's got a really good Batman and Robin, but with a villain.
And that's why I didn't sort of like count her in the list. Let her earn her way into the list. In that essence.
So I gotta compliment the art on this. This is kind of funny. Kind of like you got Clark acting like a little kid, kind of like smirking a little, or not smirking, but like, looking down at him. Then Bruce is getting his face. Like, I mean, are they preparing for Son of Kal-El?
That doesn't make it happen. It's hilarious.
Then you look at how Jonathan's drawn. He just got that toothy grin, like he's missing teeth. He's like he's missing the overalls. That's what he's missing, the overalls and the no socks or shoes.
Well, he is 10 years old, so it's very likely he could be
but I'm not saying that I'm just saying he's got that farmer look going pretty well.
He is a farmer kid.
Yep.
I love this cover. I think this is a fantastic cover. I'm so remiss that Gleason left DC for Marvel and now does little of note at Marvel. Like, I guess he occasionally is doing some Spider-Man books off and on. But man, he was terrific on this series. Just
I love this story. I love this series.
So anybody following right now, I posted the link under I Love Comics, so you can go ahead and read this later on. Leave it a like, give it a share. Hold on. He's going to kill the bird now.
What birdie?
Twitlets, you're fine. Don't worry about
it. It's good to know.
Like. was the best we had DC in a decade. And Britman, this book got destroyed for crap. Like, why Ben had destroyed Super Set for garbage? That's what I don't understand. Great team and threw it away for Aubrey Reading book, which no one wanted. His Aubrey Reading book, which no one wanted. His Super was gone and destroyed this great family for crap.
Family is crap. That's all I heard.
No, okay. Let me back up. Like, Bendis took this great, like, Superman family. He was a great character, but my boy John and Superman, and threw it away. For garbage.
Yes,
for an awful Legion book.
Yes.
Where it sucked.
Calm down there,
I
sir.
gotta tell you, I hate the term shipping as well. I saw Ash saying that.
Yeah, especially when I see the price.
I brought that up.
Yeah,
I brought that up too because even though it's not mentioned in the article, it does get overused.
Yeah,
and
it's not just the term; it's also the concept. Like,
yes,
when I think millennials created this because 80s and 90s there was no, even though the term wasn't there, like the idea of shipping characters. I'm sure there were some people, but it wasn't. I didn't know any of my friends that got comics. I worked in 2 different comic stores over the years. I never talked to anyone who was like trying to put this character with that character. We just wanted fun action adventure stories. And the things that people were talking about was like, oh my God, did you see this new villain? Oh my God, I can't believe they just killed this many mutants. Blah, blah. Like no one was ever like, who's hooking up with who?
there were only 2
That's
characters.
There
were only 2 characters, and you're going to agree with me on this, that our generation really, really cared about getting together, and that's Dave and Maddie. That's about it.
Oh, I know who this kid are. I know people.
It doesn't matter. You're too young. Ash gets it. Ash understands what I'm saying.
I'm
Two oldest.
I'm gonna nod silently.
The 2 oldest guys in the room.
Dude, I actually think it's cool. Don't ruin it by telling me you don't.
I'm
know
nodding.
Moonlighting.
Now
you can't see, I'm nodding.
Now he's gonna realize today's generation would be Liv and Maddie, the Disney version.
Right. Yeah. But no, it was the Bruce Willis show, Moonlighting.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yes. I
Dave and
forgot
Maddie.
the characters' names. I wasn't a huge Moonlighting fan. But then again, I don't know, man. You did want to see them get together, but also it kind of ruined the show when they did.
Yeah, once they got together, it really messed up the show.
The show died.
Hey, Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those shows that was built on that whole premise of that chemistry.
The will they, won't
A
they.
modern equivalent would be the show Castle, if anyone saw that show.
Mm-hmm.
And Nathan Fillion and that actress, they just had this on-screen chemistry, and you were like, you wanted to see them get together, and that whole like they never did kept making the show interesting. And then just like the same way, they put the characters together finally, and all the magic was gone.
I'll tell you though, the first 3 seasons, the season after they got together and everything, I would put up against any season of TV ever, especially the first 2. The first 2 definitely are strong enough to go toe to toe with any show.
You know, I think it's also like if the show or if the story is built upon that, then that's kind of the, that's the through line for it. The will they, won't they? That's the tension. That's intended. With the shipping thing that's going on. Like most of the time, it's not even intended at all, and it's a certain group of people that kind of start to get it in their mind that they get fixated on. That's something that they want to see, even when writers and other people have no intention of doing that at all. And it is this odd entitlement too. Like you sense like how fervent they are, especially if they're vocal online. If this needs to happen. If this doesn't happen, then I'm not satisfied with the book, or they missed an opportunity. This, that, and the third. When it really should be kind of what Ash was talking about. What we knew it to be. It's just, hey, here's the story. Let's experience the story the way that they crafted it, and then make our determination of if it resonated with us or if it didn't, based off of what is there, not what's not there, but you want to be there, so you're like forcing it in. It's a really strange entitlement thing. I tried to think about the psychology behind it, trying to think like, what is like, why is it? Why do you feel like you need to have this in there? and where the hell did it even come from in the first place? You seeing these two things that weren't necessarily intended to go together, and you're trying to force them together. And I don't know, maybe I just can't get in the mindset of the people that are so passionate about, shipping and whatnot, but I just can't figure it out for the life of me. And I don't, obviously I think they find community in it, apparently because, they kind of rally behind each other, but also at the same time, I don't know if they realize how much it's possibly, well, not even possibly, how much it's ruining them experiencing the art and the story because of their fixation, their obsession with something that never had any motivation or legitimacy to begin with.
Could I add something on top of that?
Go ahead.
Megan Fitzmartin, Vida Ayala, and the rest of the crew are all shippers.
Oh, yeah, right. We had Tim J. ship with Bernard. No one wanted that cover to exist.
Tevya?
You know it's
Inside
true.
Boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
You know it's
They can't
true,
bring in
right?
something
Think
like
of
that.
why this agenda is here. These are shippers.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. I mean,
that makes
Vida
sense.
Ayala in particular,
These are
self-proclaimed.
shippers.
Like when
Steve
she
Orlando.
describes her books, she'll describe them.
Yeah.
In a ship, like
Steve Orlando, a shipper. I've read his Midnighter and Apollo. I don't think it's that strong. If anything, I came to like Apollo's character more so than Midnighter's. But I've heard that the original version, linking to The Authority, written by Warren Ellis, if I remember. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
We will.
The story in relation to their characters are 10 times better. Like when you go to the original source materials, which they first turned up. I still need to get a hold of it. I do plan on getting a hold of it. But when I checked it out myself, I thought, okay, this would probably be a good area to actually learn about these characters. I don't care if they're gay or whatever. When I started reading through it, this Midnighter is a pure arsehole. I like this Apollo guy better than him. You can rack off. But when it comes to, say, the original content, I am looking forward to reading it. I just got to get around to doing it.
You want to see a pretty thing? Just to change the subject here, I'm going to change subject on everybody. Okay, I'm using my my channel privileges.
You're going to turn your camera off?
This, my friends, I didn't say, do you want to get rid of an ugly thing? I'm going to show you a pretty thing.
That's what I meant. Yeah, see the icon.
Common America resin maquettes are clearing final quality control and shipping to Timothy Lynn and Mark Pellegrini. They anticipate that they'll be offered during Common America Volume 6 campaign this fall.
Ooh.
There you go. Thank you so much for your continued support and for telling friends about Black Hops X.
That's a lot of blondes.
There we go. Yeah. That they do look good, don't they?
They're great.
So that might be something you guys
just looks
want
like
to look into. If you've heard about Iconic Comics, so by all means, check out the books and such.
It's live on Indiegogo and Kickstarter right now. Black Hops, along with Doug Ernst, Soulflander.
Yep. Speaking of what I want to talk about, there's nothing want to bring out those super stuff because even though this book did not come out in 2020, I need to talk about it because it's really interesting. I'm trying to screenshot it.
Say again?
Yeah. Speaking of super stuff, there's actually a book that it's not coming out in 2020, but I do want to show it. I can actually screenshot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I see is you sharing us.
Yeah.
So
Here it is.
there it is.
Oh, yeah. If you remember this book, New Warriors, right? This thing would have come in 2020.
I did. Thank you for sharing.
And here's the thing, though. This book didn't come out, but Chillian the Atom did. Which, that's odd. Why would this book not come out, but the other book did? And this book was in my Daniel Kimmersmith. Which, that's weird. Yeah, they did a trip. Oh.
Well, the writing seems kind of on the wall about this book. This book made.
It's the internet gas, kid.
This book.
Yeah, we talked about this book. Like,
do you know how many YouTubers? Okay, go Ash. Ash, it's all you, man. It's on you.
Yeah. No, Ash, you have to wait. No,
still in safe space.
Ash, you have the floor.
The writing was on the wall with this one because this made national news. I mean, when they're writing articles in the New York Times about this, when Joe Rogan is laughing about this to his 50 million viewers, this is beyond just Comicsgate squealing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying that not to pick on Comicsgate or anyone, but in the comics community, 100,000 maybe fans that are like, we're upset about this. Marvel can be like, ha ha ha, we're a multi-billion-dollar franchise, we don't care about you. But all of a sudden, when the mainstream media is posting, and you've got, people like you got the CEOs at of like Marvel Entertainment or whatever, and like their friends are like, what is going on at your company? Like they're not even comic people, but they're just like reading the news, like, what the hell is going on? What are you guys doing? Are you seeing how bad you guys are getting mocked and ridiculed? This just gets swept under the carpet because they're fine doing this sort of stuff and spitting in the face of a smaller niche community, and it just sort of like stays there on the underground. But when it becomes national news, it's an embarrassment on Wall Street, and they got investors to answer to.
But
maybe this will see a return because we've seen how Disney is just full on embracing the whole like we're going, blah, blah, so who knows?
Yeah, but the reason in Churning Adam definitely this book came out, but New Warrior didn't, which is just confusing because wasn't this book all the controversial? Like,
Children of the Atom though wasn't that controversial. I mean, it was controversial to X-Men fans.
Yeah,
because we're like, who wants a bunch of cosplayers? We don't. That's dumb. But the modern mainstream media doesn't care about our quibbling over dumb comics. But what the mainstream normies do care about is super retarded stuff like this, and it became a national embarrassment. And they were like, "Oh, we better hide this," because I'm telling you, one thing everyone can't stand this, but leftists most of all is mockery and ridicule. And when you get mocked and ridiculed, you just run and hide. It's most people's instinct, and this got a lot of people mocked and ridiculed, big important people.
Yep. Honestly, I've already cared. Being negative is the only character I liked because his design looks pretty interesting. Yes, it's probably them, but I don't give it. It looks kind of cool, it's kind of unique. Trailblazer, not so much.
Trailblazer.
Let's do that World Team Super Magic backpack out the pocket and never seen in space, and when she can pull out for random objects.
Here's the thing too. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question: why are we talking about this again? Is this coming out now?
No.
He was questioning why did other books get released that seemingly are just as cringy, but why did this one not? And so I was hoping I could provide some insight as to the difference.
That's the question I had him because
they ran out of time because they had to do the gala,
the Hellfire Gala.
I think it's because remember we're going back to what pre-Jim Shooter, where people take forever. They're divas.
Speaking of Hellfire Gala, this comes up real soon, and what they did to Mary Jane in this book infuriated me. Which I need to bring this up.
There are a ton of YouTubers that are very, very sad that New Warriors isn't coming out.
There's also a ton of YouTubers who did this video. Check out I Love Comics, one of them.
I know, right? I did a video on it. Yeah, of course. But that's the thing. A lot of YouTubers are like, no, put it out. I want to mock it. I want to mock this book. I do. I think we missed out on something by not being able to mock the shit out of that book.
I will actually laugh at it. It will be a fun book to make fun of. Actually, it was funny. I over the whole event, but we thought book we made a book that event actually interesting. Stupid, but it was fun.
Well, if they ever put this book out, release it, it'll be our next June reading.
Yeah,
I think if I were to guess in relation as to how they'd bring out the book, they might actually bring it out in young adult graphic novel form. Because it actually looks like it would fit that category.
Yeah, because I'm not sure with this. Don't know why going on with it. Not great. So,
but yeah, the only thing it would be lacking would be like huge chapters.
True.
Like if they're gonna do these books, they should have like a 16:10 version, and then they have the normal books. If they really were concerned about money, but no, they're concerned about just hey, we did this, but don't worry, we can do this because we have Disney money to fall back on.
Another option is that they could bring it out in a big graphic novel format. Just see how that goes into sales.
I want a pop-up book. That's what I want.
It can't be a big graphic novel format because the people that want these books already don't really buy books, and so putting out a $25 book is going to get less sales even than the $4 book.
Angleton wants
less sales or not, it's still going to get word of mouth.
It's still going to get word of mouth. It's still going to sell maybe 50-50 shot.
One thing you guys maybe one thing I might add to this is there's a very interesting bit of math you can do that shows you, I think, a little bit of how things skew currently. If you Google just the amount of current comic book stores in America, I think you pull up a number that's under 2,000. It's like 1,900 or something storefronts. Google the amount of public school libraries in the United States, and you get something that's like I think it's 100,000. It's like 10 times as high. And so the ability for public school librarians, because if you can sell a book and if you go to like a librarian conference, like people will sell graphic novels to public school librarians and so on. You instantly can see why things skew the way they do. Sell a book to the comic book storefront market, you're selling to max like 2,000 stores. Sell it to the public school system, and you're selling to like a market of magnitude far higher. And so you're just dealing with just math that's scales of magnitude different.
And the public school system, you brought up a really good point, is keeping a lot of Marvel books alive. Like Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur would not exist without the public libraries.
But didn't the book get canceled? They pulled a plug on that book years ago, I think.
So the point, I think the broader point that's the black pill. The white pill is that it's possible to go to these conferences and network with librarians and sell your own private independent books to them as well. And I think there are books that independent creators have made, like Charlie's London, which is like a biopic book. Like I was recommending to Charlie's London, you should market this to librarians. It's library bait. So like you can create those relationships and network with them, because like I said, the market it's one thing to get a book into a couple hundred storefronts, but to get it into like the school system, like I said, you're just reaching.
Well, if you can get every library to just buy one copy of your book, you can support any book.
Yeah, if you literally one copy of a book to the public school system, you sold 100,000 copies. That puts it into the from Comic-Con, like puts it into like a bestseller list. In fact, that's how Bone by Jeff Smith. That's how Bone actually became such a It was a success when it was independently published,
but it was an independent success.
Yeah,
but when Scholastic and the librarians decided to fall in love with it and make it an early reader, which is what they've done now, that thing is now like forever in print, and it is like a landmark. It's an institution now. Because it not only is it sold to schools, it's sold to schools as an educational thing because it's an early reader, so people can actually use it as an educational tool.
The tough thing about that though for the indies though is like what Marvel has a big leg in the door through Scholastic, and so they have this leverage of networking and being able to get all these books. But for an independent person, what avenue do you have to take to like
you have to go to the
network
library
with all these libraries? Like getting it into 20 libraries, that's probably not hard. Do some legwork, but 100,000 libraries, like these librarians are probably just going on to the Scholastic. Like they're probably getting a brochure, kind of like we have previews for comics. They're probably getting monthly Scholastic thing, and like here's the new things that you can. And the librarians are like check, and they don't know what they're ordering.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, but I think it's an avenue that a lot of people don't even consider to look at, and so I would love to see more people like looking at those avenues, because I think it could be fruitful.
I don't follow this stuff at the moment because it's super confusing, and actually trying to clear comics out, it's not easy. It's confusing, complicated, and just could be messy. But these more comics are just all over the place, to tell you the truth. But I do understand where you're going with this. Is that the interesting conversation with the whole library system as well?
The real irony is that back in the day, librarians historically hated comic books and tried to fight them, and that's partially what led to the children's picture book market and a whole bunch of that happening. And now they've completely flipped, and they've become the tastemakers for graphic novels. So it's very interesting to look at the history of that and how it progressed.
Yeah.
So how can we write? You know what? We can write a story, an all ages woke story about this group right here, huh? Sell it to the library. I think that would. Yeah.
Quick, write down. Like
Tevia.
I was actually talking, Tev, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You've interrupted.
Also, don't yell.
Yeah, I was about to say we even got an animal sidekick. We're good for the kids market, guys. Twiddles, we need you to fly through the vent and activate the. Shut up! I'm talking. You see? No, you are not here to steal my thunder, boy. Okay, you're just too cute. There you go. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Keep going. I'm sorry. Public libraries have conventions regarding what to stock in them. So, say Marvel cracks that convention circuit, they've got already.
Back in the back in the 80s, if you're lucky enough, you could actually get probably like a $2,000 book. A book that's worth now. So remember they had all the comic books in there. They had the early Spider-Mans in there. Yep. So nowadays, the comic books they have there now are Bendis or Rucka. You're good luck finding any of the older stuff in there.
So no Stan Lee, no Steve Ditko, nothing.
Actually,
no
they might even have some of the epic collections.
The collections to check out, but I'm saying as far as the individual floppies they used to carry.
A
lot of them were beat up, in the 70s when you got them. We went to the libraries. They actually started carrying some of the Marvel and DC stuff. You could read Flash, Spider-Man,
Batman.
But even those were reader cards and it was really beat up, man. Maybe you imagine like, I'll pay the 25 cents overdue fee and I'll keep the book.
Yep. God, make comment trying to make sense. Those are the days.
So Skip, it's glad to know you're still here because you scared the crap out of me when you started speaking. I thought you fell asleep. All right.
I'm sorry, I was sleeping. What did you say?
Well, it doesn't matter anymore. You're sleeping. Okay. And anybody else in the chat have any questions for the panel at all, as far as subjects you want to talk about, complaints? Direct them towards E.
Hey, this ain't my show. I've been enjoying just being part of the panel.
Do you prefer that more?
I'm listening to you take it. No, but
you don't.
No, but you're the one that's been you're the one that has just been taking care of the whole crowd there. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
I tried to.
Here you go. You take this. All right. There you go.
Also, the boy wants the paper.
He does this to build a nest.
That's cute.
All right. Actually, Glenzer, if you're gonna have any DBZ fusion, it'd be Twitless and Twiddles.
DBZ. Yeah, it would be Twiddles. It'd be Twiddles. Yeah, I guess it would just be Twiddles with a T. That's the way you would do it. Yeah. Twidless, like I said earlier. So.
Twidless. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
The problem is that he we took him away from
All right,
and he doesn't know how to put that piece of paper in his feathers. So he'll turn his head to try to put it in his feathers, but he won't be able to do it.
All right, so Marania, I was trying to get to that before, but they were going like a mile a minute.
Hey, Marania, don't feel bad. Rhaegar actually super chatted and didn't get his answer.
So she says shipping character started back. Hey, what the heck was that?
Wait, well, I thought we answered.
We did. We just never answered the question. That's all.
Oh, I want to hear Ash defend the great plot of GOT. Go on ahead.
Sorry, Marania, you don't count anymore. Apparently.
Well, he super chatted.
I was just laughing the whole time because he super chatted for me to say something, and then you guys.
I went off on a rant.
I was like,
okay,
this
go
is
on ahead.
hilarious.
I'm going to shut up.
I don't care. I mean, I wasn't like, it wasn't me. It's your show. I just was trying to appease Marania though, because she's not the only one getting.
But
ignored.
is it his show though? Is it really?
Today it's obviously I could shut this show down as quickly.
Hi, Brady.
Like I said, you've got this. So yeah.
Well, Marania said shipping character started back in the days of Kirk and Spock / fiction in the 1960s and 70s. It's only gotten worse these days with people wanting to ship established hetero characters together. Not just hetero though. It's really any and all characters.
Yes.
But you're right.
Yeah.
And another thing that started with Star Trek was the fanfic. The idea of Mary Sue's that comes from Star Trek. Star Trek birthed a lot of great things that we now have to enjoy in modern writing comics.
Well,
Wait,
one thing I noticed.
Mary Sue?
Go on ahead.
Sorry. My question: Star Trek did Star Trek really put Mary Sue? That's a thing. I bet Star Trek did not do that. I bet that was I don't know what
Mary Sue was a fanfic character in Star Trek, and she was so completely awesome. She was better than James T. Kirk. She just could do anything and everything, and that's where the term stuck. And so in the future, whenever other people created these characters that were just amazing at everything and they never like earned their way there, we called it a Mary Sue. And it was most commonly done with female characters by writers who kind of want to like prop up, like, oh, females are just as good as men. It's like, we're not arguing that. Like, you guys sort of created this, but this idea has formed, and we've all seen it from feminist movements, of this idea that women are just trampled upon and no one respects women, which is so crazy because we live in a society that literally simps to them at every waking moment.
That wasn't what to me.
That's funny. Yeah, that's where Mary Sue came from.
Huh. Wait, what about Jerry Sue's? Is that the same thing?
Jerry Sue was just an attempt for someone to make a male equivalent, but he's not a real thing. I just call every character a Mary Sue. I don't think you need to make a male, like, change a name. It's like Karen. Like, a male Karen is a Karen. Like, because that term now means something. We don't need to come up with a male name because it's just silly to me. That's
gotcha.
Yeah, I prefer Mary Lou.
You prefer Mary Lou?
Yeah, goodbye heart.
I'm finished.
Are you?
Get ready for more Mary Sue simping and Thor Ragnarok 2, says Rhaegar.
Are you okay over there?
Please stop
getting ready.
Me.
I have very mixed emotions about this film because Ragnarok is one of my favorite MCU films. I believe that Taika Waititi is a very talented film. I understand that he butchered Thor. I totally get the people that feel that way. I'm not going to argue. I don't think that that's not true. But as a film, if you didn't know who Thor was and you just wanted a fun movie and you weren't concerned with continuity of comics or anything like that, structurally, it was well told. It was highly entertaining. Yep. It did butcher the original property, but I don't care because it was so much better than the first two. I was like, I would rather have a movie that I have absolute fun watching than a movie that's more accurate but boring. And I'm a fan of Taika Waititi's like other stuff, and I think he's just a talented. He's got a voice to say.
I don't think I agree with that. I don't know if we have the time to get into that, but I think that people forgive a lot of sins that movie has, apart from it just being a butchering of source material. I think there's a lot of tonal inconsistencies. I think there's structuring problems. I think there's just a lot of issues with it, and I think that people just kind of are laughing at low-hanging fruit. And maybe it's because of the comparison of the previous two films or whatnot, but I think that film gets way more forgiveness than it deserves.
Well,
I laughed twice at that movie. So when people say it's super funny, I don't even know if I give it that.
Well, sure. I'm not saying you need to like it, and it rubbed you the wrong way, and that's valid. But it worked for so many people, not because it was an utter failure, because it did a lot of things right. Those things that it did right, you didn't like, and that's fine.
The Last Jedi worked for a lot of people. It still made like $2 billion. I don't know if you can use that as quite as much of a defense.
I can defend that film all day, but
I don't know. Twitless doesn't know the can of worms that he just.
Did I just open up a can of worms? All right.
Yeah, you're talking to someone who enjoys The Last Jedi.
Right. I was trying to pick an example that would be.
I think it had some good Star
Last
Wars.
Jedi. I'm talking about low hanging fruit. Last Jedi is low hanging fruit.
It had some good Star Wars moments. Overall, it doesn't stand as a film, but there are some scenes in there that I got to tell you I really enjoy. Anything with Rose Tico, for example.
So most likely, I'm mentioning finishing out the Thor topic. Kevin Feige said there's going to be more Thor variants after this movie.
Wait, what? How? That makes no sense. But
there's Throg, there's Beta Ray Bill, there's a bunch of Thors.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's Beta Ray Bill, there's James Bond the Fourth,
so
Thunderstrike.
Because Chris Hemsworth said I think this is gonna be his last film as Thor, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he said but in an interview he had said, I'll come back if the fans want me to come back and play Thor. I'm like, dude, no one wants you to leave.
Well, I like what Chris Hemsworth is. I like that he's not painting himself into a corner. He's keeping options open, because a lot of these people, they're like, I'm done with this, and then they go and then they realize they can't make any more money.
Lauren Cohan,
they're making money because of the Marvel franchise, and they're like, they come crawling back.
I think he's going to be okay, though. In all honesty, I've seen him branch out. I've seen him doing a few. By the way, anybody see Spiderhead?
I haven't seen it yet.
That is definitely a different movie that he's been in. The thing is, while I think he's going to be fine, I don't know if he's a blockbuster actor. I don't know if there are anymore. But
Tom Cruise.
He's done some good stuff, you know. Tom Cruise, of course, is the last of the great stars. But
you have to keep one thing in mind, though. He gets to make movies like Spiderhead because
of Thor.
Thor.
Yeah,
when you step out of the limelight, all these little indie pictures, you start becoming obscure, because most of America don't watch obscure indie films.
Except
I watch
hold on, Tev, hold on just a second. There is a difference now than from when we were young, with the fact that a lot of the stuff that's coming out is on streaming. I'm seeing more movies come out on streaming than in the theaters even. So
right, but
that's not the way you and I watch films, but I have a feeling it's going to steer more towards that. While
I agree with you, but think about this.
The big budget movies are going to go to the theaters, and a lot of movies are going to go to Netflix. The problem with that, of course, is that there's very little advertisement.
But think about this. Do you think Netflix offered Chris Hemsworth his going rate because he's just some actor, or because he can sell pictures because he's a big giant star?
Well, to be fair, we
have to stay that star to draw that rate. Otherwise, no one's paying Zachary Quinto.
We're not talking about.
He had to come crawling back to Star Trek. He's a fine actor.
We're not talking about the 1990s $20 million thing. What we're talking about is the fact that, are they going to be fine? Are they going to continue to work, or are they going to be really going off to the wayside? And then a lot of times you might think that somebody is is a failure. They went away when they never did. And I'm only thinking of this because I just saw the movie about a week ago. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant film. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Is the husband. It stars what's his name, Ki Hugh Kwan, who of course played Short Round, and he was in the Goonies.
Yep.
And he disappeared, but he didn't disappear. He went behind the camera and he was a stuntman. There's a lot of things that are going to make these people successful, but there are some who are going to be the flash in the pan, and they're going to have this one role. It happens with a lot of actors, no matter what, whether they're doing superheroes or not.
Like
Ezra Miller, Reeve. You could argue that Christopher Reeve failed as an actor outside of Superman, but he still worked all the way up to his death. The man had roles. Of course, he was not known for Death Trap or switching channels, but he still worked. He worked consistently. And when you're talking about a job like acting, where basically if you go to Juilliard, you study your best, you go out to California to make it big, you try a few, you get a commercial, it doesn't go anywhere, you go back home where you teach acting, that's a successful acting career. So it definitely is on a scale, but I think Chris Hemsworth though is going to keep making movies until he's good and old, until he decides to stop.
I'll just say this: if before Top Gun 2, I probably would have passed it because it's only Chris Hemsworth, but now we have Rooster in there as well.
Yep.
Well, the one reason to see Spiderhead, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't even know if it's good, but I'm going to assume it's good, is because Joseph Kosinski is the filmmaker, the director. He's the guy who did Top Gun 2.
Yep.
He's the guy who also did Oblivion. He did Tron Legacy. He did that Fireman movie that I keep forgetting the name of, which is amazing. All of his films are
Trespass.
This is one of my favorite modern filmmakers.
It's more Oblivion than it is Maverick. I'll tell you straight up.
Certainly, but my point is the reason I'm excited for it is because the filmmaker who did not let me down on Top Gun, in fact, my expectations were super high and he blew me away.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go see it. I don't care that it's got Chris Hemsworth. You can replace it once you're a good actor. I don't care. Like as long as you're just good. Gary Oldman is one of my favorite actors ever, and he just plays usually bit parts. Mm-hmm. He's not a big leading man typically because he's just he just does his job. But if you just put a good actor, I don't need to see Chris Hemsworth. Put a quality actor. My point is that studios greenlight films because of star power often. Who they can get to be in the film can make or break it getting greenlit. And Chris Hemsworth is one of those people right now, but it's not because he did Rush, the Ron Howard racing film. Like he was great in that movie.
Extraction.
Which was a lot of fun.
Extraction is a ton of fun.
Well,
it was
Extraction too.
People know Chris Hemsworth's name because he's Thor. He is in every household. Kids love him. Parents love him. Grandparents love him. He's a big star, and you can stay in that route. Okay. You will draw. You can make anything you want.
Kids same with Eddie Murphy. Kids know him as Donkey. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a good question, and by all means, everybody in the chat, chime in what you think. Now, I do think that Chris Hemsworth is one of the ones that are going to go on to have a really good career. I think he's a diverse enough actor, and when you watch this movie, when you watch Spiderhead, you're going to see a different character than he's ever played. What is an actor or actress, and be honest about this. Don't go, that movie sucks, but think about the quality of the job they do and so forth and so on. Who do you think would have the hardest time?
I know one.
Okay.
I know they got kind of made Johnny Depp to come back because
Johnny Depp coming back to what Marvel movie?
Marvel.
Yeah.
We're talking about Marvel and DC. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Maybe Christian Bale.
Christian Bale actually said he'll come back to Batman if he gets Nolan
hold on.
back.
You think that Christian Bale, after Thor Ragnarok, Christian Bale of all actors is not going to have a career? After he stops his Marvel work, he's not going to have a career.
Yeah, clear.
Listen to what we're talking about, and don't just wait for us to stop talking so you can start. But was there an actor or an actress when they stop their roles in a Marvel movie? Do you think that they'll have trouble finding movies and getting into the groove?
Yes.
I have one. I have one, and it's a huge one, so I'm going to save mine for last. Hendrix is saying Chris Evans. Of course, he's got The Gray Man coming up. Anybody else want to take a shot? See if they've or why do you think also would be good? What about you, Venk?
I was going to say Scarlett Johansson. She's going to age out soon.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson was my pick.
She's beautiful. Yeah, she's beautiful as all get out, but she is reaching the mom years.
Yes.
Well, she also gave Disney the finger.
That's true. That's true.
So she kind of burned a bridge.
But she does doesn't she do indie work? So I think she'll be
a lot of
I think she could have a career and then get an Oscar or something
it's like big blockbuster films. So she
does indie work. She was going to do that trans movie, and then the trans movie got canceled because she wasn't trans, and so then the movie got canceled because they couldn't afford to greenlight the movie without the star power of Scarlett Johansson, which is what I was talking about.
Is being brought up. Glenn's are saying Brie Larson outside of Disney would vapor, but she also, by the way, before she got to Marvel, was an independent film actress. Now, so what she might do is she'll have this Captain Marvel, back to the indie scene, which is, by the way, of course, what Ash is saying. They're not going to plateau. I've got one in
is he green?
And as a matter of fact, Maranya agrees with me. Robert Downey Jr. And here's the thing. He's had 2 movies that excited people during the run of Marvel. And that's Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes 2. Everything else, The Juror,
Doolittle,
Dr. Doolittle, everything else he seems to be involved in doesn't make any money.
Due Date was pretty good.
Huh?
How well did Due Date go?
It bombed.
Did it really? Wow, it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was. It's just Robert Downey Jr. could not get. Gal Gadot says Smokey collects.
Did he get typecast, you think?
Probably.
I don't know.
Maybe I heard they're doing speaking of which, I heard they're doing a Sherlock Holmes 3, and I'm very excited.
Oh, me too. I'm going to bet money that Robert Downey Jr. will still be viable. Look, Robert Downey Jr. is always going to be Robert Downey Jr., but he doesn't make movies that excite people outside of Iron Man and the Marvel.
I think he picks bad movies. I think he's one of those type of actors that somehow he needs to get a new agent or something.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to read a good script.
Maybe, yeah.
What he might do, if I were Robert Downey Jr.'s agent, I would go after directors, not scripts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, director at one point. Script secondary.
You say, hey, look, Downey, you've never been in a Marty J movie. So why don't we go into that? Why you've never been in a Coppola film? We need to get you in one of those. Barry Sonnenfeld does interesting things. Let's get you with him. Stuff like that.
What about James Cameron? Why not Robert Downey made James Cameron movie? Because we got Avatar 2 coming out.
Jimmy just broke my heart.
Avatar 2. I am so looking forward to that. Trailer was so beautiful, and there were scenes in that trailer, and James Cameron does this every freaking time he makes a big movie. It's like how is it that we were here with computer graphics and now you just bumped it up to here? Some of the stuff that is in that trailer is just amazing.
Avatar 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm
just wondering about the story. That's the thing I'm more interested in the most.
There's not a filmmaker in Hollywood making
when the furries start breakdancing
that James Cameron does with that batting average. He hit
Hold on.
He hit home run after home run.
Yeah, please say that again there, Ash.
I was saying there's not a filmmaker in Hollywood that makes that level of film, the AAA blockbuster, with that level of batting average. No Spielberg, no George Lucas. No one's ever done what he's done. But he's back-to-back made the highest grossing film of all time after a 12-year hiatus. And when he did the highest grossing film, it wasn't like, he barely peaked and beat the previous film. He shattered. When Titanic came out, It was 600 million above the previous.
I saw some theories. I saw some theories that said that had less to do with how good he is and more to do with he has impeccable timing. There was a breakdown video that showed that when he made his films, Titanic and Avatar, that he specifically released them at moments where there was like no competition, and so he was
totally incorrect.
He was able to maximize profits.
Titanic never was. Here's a interesting piece of trivia that most people don't know. Titanic was never number one at the box office.
It came out during Christmas, also.
It came out during a big James Bond release, and one of the biggest James Cameron fans I've ever known. I didn't even see his film first. I saw the James Bond movie first because I was like, it's a movie about a ship. Who cares?
I watched them both in the same night. I was the projectionist, so I had to watch them back to back. And I had to watch them back to back, and that was a great day.
But that's an interesting piece of trivia a lot of people don't realize about Titanic is it was the number one film of all time. It held the record for 12 years until Avatar. And it did it without ever being number one. Crazy. Phenomenal. If you look at statistics of his success, no one's ever done what he's done. Now, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to guarantee love his film. There's plenty of people that were bored through Avatar. I'm sorry for you that you didn't have the enjoyment that I had. I loved it.
I loved it. When I first saw it, I loved it.
I'm very much like I'm a James Cameron fanboy, and I'm so worried because I'm like everyone drops the ball, and I'm like, is Avatar 2 going to be? Is he going to finally do a movie that I don't like? I hope not.
The video game around the movie was actually a little bit more exciting.
The video game was bad. It was a disappointing game.
Titanic had a video game.
I was going to say
no. Avatar video game.
Titanic. Watch out. Oh, crap.
You're a propeller guy. You got to make it to the top of the boat. And then when you fall down, you got to avoid the propeller.
It's a Tetris-like game where you arrange deck chairs.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Titanic would be like a Atari game trying to steer through the car, but you can't. And he hit
actually, someone said, of course, this is hindsight, but there was a study. And they found out with the tools that they had on the ship, they had enough time to take the doors off, then circle the lifeboats, and the doors you put the doors between the lifeboats in a circle, and it would have held every passenger on that ship.
Oops. Yeah.
But once again, we have the okay. I'm sorry to touch the foot. Sorry. Hey, it's done now.
So I want to bring up something that Dominic mentioned about like 20 minutes ago. This is his question for the panel. What will bring Marvel, Image, DC back from the brink to a place where they're producing quality content? Furthermore, going back to hiring creatives based on merit.
I'll take this one. Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing's gonna bring them back for the. This is where they're at now, and it it's a location of their own choosing. Because of the way that finance breaks down and everything, and they would rather find talent that can get books out and try to sell them on the merits of ideas that editorial have, and sometimes still listening to pitch ideas. Of course, we know that still happens, but at the end of the day, whatever budget that the EIC kicks down for the editors, they have to make that book happen within that. And if that means that they don't have enough to hire people that, have a proven track record because their page rates are up and whatnot, then they're just not going to hire those people. And they're going to just try to find people, and they're going to try to coach them up, and see if they can, make them into the ideal writer, or as best as they can for whatever projects that they hand over to those people. But you take that and then couple it with the smaller number of people actually interested, that are talented, that are interested in being a comics creator after you find out how hard it is and how little you get paid. I just don't see it.
It used to be that they created creators, people would read the books. They would read the books Jack Kirby did and Stan Lee, and they would want to work on those characters. I don't see the writings of Vita Ayala or Mark Russell or so inspiring people to want to tell these characters. What about John Kent would make you want to continue his story. There's just nothing. Everything special about John Kent they took away. He could have been the Calvin of Calvin and Hobbes for the Superman set. Along with Robin, they were doing a book that was very much like that with the miniseries where they went to different worlds and everything. Anyway.
Ash, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I mostly agree with what Skip said. However, I have a slight amount of hope of possibility, although that hope is based on something really negative. And I think that the only thing that's going to save is complete and abject failure. Mm-hmm. I think like they just have to have such a catastrophic, like to where because right now there's so much, what I see in the industry is so much, God, what's that? The term that I say it all the time and now I'm forgetting. It's, but it's like a confirmation bias.
Mediocrity.
It's that mental, gosh, I'm sitting here stuttering over like Biden, but it's like a confirmation bias. It's the, and they just can't come to terms with their own failure. It's like, it's not them, it's something else. And it needs to get to the point where everyone's like fired, like they're closing the doors. Like there's no more making excuses. Like finally we can get through that and they can go, oh, and so when they start up from the ashes, someone can come in and try to rebuild and be strict about it, where they're like, look, we don't have time to fail like you guys did before. We entertained all that. There's no more. And the reason I have a little bit of hope for that is because we're starting to see glimpses. Whether it proves true or not, time will tell. But like we're seeing glimpses of it with like Netflix sending out like the memo being like, look, if you don't like what we're doing, shut the hell up and go work for somewhere else. Like they're trying to get rid of this woke nonsense. They're realizing that they're getting hit in the pocket, and voting with your wallet matters. And in the world of comic books, where they're subsidized by Disney and Warner Brothers, they've been able to get away with it for so long. They're basically spending other people's money. And if these comics fail, it doesn't hurt them because they still have a job. They still collect their paycheck and whatever. People are complaining, oh, well, boo-hoo, you're a bunch of evil people, so we're not going to listen to you. But that goes away when the company goes away. And that doesn't work in the big world of like Netflix, where you have to answer to shareholders, and we're talking billions of dollars on the line. And when your stock drops a couple of points, you may have lost a couple of $1 billion, and then all of a sudden shareholders are questioning. And it's not a matter of like, well, whatever, shareholders. There's legalities that are now, lawsuits can happen because you, as if you're a part of the board of directors, you have a fiduciary responsibility. And this is what's going on with Twitter. But I'm not trying to go in the weeds, but this is why like Twitter's having to like begrudgingly agree with Elon and conform to him, because it's like, he's relying on that fiduciary responsibility. Like, yeah, you can't play around. You can play around in these small ponds and do stuff and ignore your customer base, but you can't do that when you're a publicly traded company and you're dealing with that level of money. And so hopefully, anyway, I went way far, but that trickles down and we see, I just want to see both of these companies implode, not because I want them to go away and I hate them, but because I want the possibility that they can rise from the ashes and they can hire no nonsense people who go, oh yeah, we don't have time to F around. And I said that was going to be short and it went longer, so I apologize. Go ahead, Fabio.
Yeah, I thought my answer about a question you're concerned about DC and Marvel kind of like failing or trying to clean out my band, not clean out, you know what they do, come out from the dead. I think there's still hope in my friend to come out from the dead. 1, get rid of all the idiot way. Stop hiring morons, because hiring morons, you keep driving into garbage in the beginning. 2, stop.
Don't need to yell. There's a microphone.
Stop yelling. Number 3.
Sorry. But my points are
pass it down. Breathe.
Sorry, I'm passing it. But points. Like part 2. Like fire all the idiots, and this is how a good way. Like bring back Tomasi, let Tomasi bring back story. D and John came back to normal, and after Marvel, stop destroying the critters. Let people grow up. Let them be an adult. Let them get married to Mary Jane. Stop making them miserable. Stop making them be moron. Let them be an adult when you got no. Let them have a daughter. Let them be Spider-Man. Boom. I saw you probably know Spidey. And for X-Men, okay, X-Men itself, that the message itself, you know the figure, okay, you need to destroy Krakoa. Krakoa had lasted way too long. They need to go away at this point. IVD themselves, fix the continuity. That's all you need to do. The continuity needs to be fixed immediately. Stop them idiots. But as for Image, they're fine. They're doing fine out there, whatever they're doing right now. I don't.
They're not fine. they're doing better. And as if the topic is about can they make quality books, Image certainly has quality books out there.
Yeah, they do.
But they also have a lot of garbage too, and
True.
there's that problem.
Just 1 second, guys. Twitless, you said you have to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna bounce in a minute. I was putting a couple links in chat in case anybody wanted to follow any other stuff. I actually do some comics writing. I've got a superhero high school parody comic strip for free. Everybody can read at superschooled.com. We got about over 500 strips, so there's definitely plenty of content for you guys to read for free. And then if you're interested in some traditional superhero action comics, I actually also self-publish on Indie Planet The Adventures of Omega Girl, which is some classic superhero adventures, 4 stories for the price of one in issue number 1, and issues 2 and 3 should be coming out as soon as Indie Planet can get their act together. Kablam has had some backlog issues recently, yeah, if you're interested in some independent work, I'd love for you guys to check me out. Thanks for having me on the show. Really appreciate it.
Also, now that you chilled, now you have the super chat. That's the rules.
Oh, okay. Is that the rule? Okay, right. Hold on.
It's a guideline.
Let me pull out my wallet.
Here, just hand it over.
I used to get a lot of shills in the comment section. So I said, if you're gonna shill, at least super chat it. Pay for your advertisement. Yeah, but you've been chatting and you've been talking on the channel, so we'll give you a discount. $5 would be good. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
$50 discount. So
super chat.
Have a good night, Twitless.
With inflation, it's up to 10.
Good night.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, with gas costs, I'm gonna have to lower that down to. I'm gonna have to...
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Peace out. Thanks.
Yep.
That reminds me, I'm gonna have to fill up my tank tomorrow.
I need to go to bed.
All right, so this is because I don't know if he has a wrench or not, but this is his link here, and what he's talking about. So
yeah, I don't. He wouldn't have a wrench.
I don't follow who has blue wrenches anymore unless it's at the auction.
Yeah, he's not a bidder.
You could have given him a blue wrench, you know.
I can't as a manager. I can't. I'm not allowed to.
Never mind then.
Ask the guy in the middle or on top. So anyway, right. Any last questions? Man, we've been going almost 3 hours.
Almost 3 hours.
Wow, my last talking on was 4 hours.
Where'd that time go?
Hey, we're cutting down from last week. We're going down an hour now.
Yep.
Well, here's a question. Ingleton, did you win any auctions?
Did I win any auctions? I have not today. I was very ticked off. It was a gorgeous auction as well, too. A lot of some good keys. First appearance of Huntress. Actually, both of them that I have up here. It was a mixture of Dell, Marvel, DC Comics. It was a great lot in one box, and I put in a bid of $162.50, and I got beat by somebody who bid $165.
There we go.
So missed out.
Cleanser, thank you for the $5 super chat. Free comics, digital or physical, should be paired with video games, movie tickets, fast food, etc. I love comics. You know, the things that are actually worth selling.
If there were, I mentioned like Thor's coming out, right? So why are we not seeing advertisements for Thor comics? What's going on in the books? Go check it out.
Whoa.
Or the big Marvel crossover that might be, or if DC Smart they should be renting the ad space in front of the Marvel movies that says, come and we just killed the entire Justice League. What happens next? Find out at your local comic book shop.
Somebody was sharing. Ash, was that in your Discord? Somebody shared that Walmart's now carrying comic books with action figures now again.
Yeah, that was me. We talked.
That was you?
Okay,
yeah.
We talked
I know I saw it somewhere. So that's kind of cool because they used to do that for a while. They're doing that for DC stuff.
Yeah, they've got a whole bunch of DC comic book action figures with some comics. They've got Black Adam with the winter special.
Unfortunately, they're sharing out the wrong version of the Flash. If you're gonna have a Flash figurine with a Flash comic book, it should be like issue 1 or issue 2 or whatever, of the rebirth, not rebirth, but somewhere recent. So the kid's like, you know what, this is cool. I read that. Oh, I'll get the trades now because it's a recent. Because if you're trying to get them to read the current stuff, that's how you do it. Now, if you're going to put Flashpoint in, at this point, the kid's like, wait, where do I start? I gotta go back.
Yeah, it's super confusing. And to Glinser's point, like, I kind of agree, like, but I think Glinser's thinking like a businessman. And the problem with the comic industry is it's not run by business people. It's run by creatives who want to just do their thing, and they don't want to have discipline. I mean, and this is not a new thing. This is not even a 2020s type of problem. This has been the case since they fired Jim Shooter in the 80s. Like, the reason they fired Jim Shooter is because he was a businessman and he cracked down on people, and he had a bunch of these, artist types, creatives. They're just like, I want to do my thing. Oh, the boss is hassling me. And they got together and they got him out. They've never wanted to do this. And it's always been a tough thing. Now, you can get away with that when you're super successful, but now the comic industry, and if they weren't, I think they need to make Marvel and DC not subsidized. That's what they need to do, is like, you go pay for your own bills. Like a kid getting kicked out of the house, it's like, yeah, pay your own rent, pay your own car insurance. Do all of a sudden it's like, oh. Right now they don't have a worry in the world. They can fail and fail and fail, and that safety net will constantly keep catching him, and that's why they don't have to do these things. And
when you say subsidized, you mean by their parent companies?
Yeah, like Disney and Marvel Entertainment. Like, and the thing is, unfortunately, Thor: Love and Thunder doesn't need any advertisements in a Marvel comic. There's not a single person buying a Marvel comic that needs an advertisement and that needs, there's a Thor movie?
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was, for those of you that have been around, like, if you remember when the Aquaman movie came out, and like every DC comic, like every single one had like full page ads for Aquaman. And it's like, really? You think that there's people buying DC comics not aware that they made Aquaman into a movie? Like,
but on the other side, on the other end, they can use the movies to advertise the comics, which is really what they should be doing.
But now, movies, they don't care. The movie companies don't care because they're already paying for this. Like, they don't need. Marvel and DC make a drop in the bucket compared to
that's what I'm
$1
saying.
billion Aquaman movie.
DC comics, but I guess Warner Brothers wouldn't shill it. But DC Comics should be buying some ad space on those advertisements they have at the beginning of AMC movies and such like that.
All right. Thank you very much again for Glinser for the super chat, and thank you, Twitless. We were just joking around, but I mean, if you want to pay the other half later, go ahead.
Thank you, Twitless. I was joking. Like I said,
it was good to have Twitless on. I enjoyed his comments, and
the door is always open. Yeah.
I thought he had some really good things to say.
Yeah, I appreciate what you say more than this twiddles right here. So,
buddy. Well, anyway, I gotta go to a minute over here. I need to sleep.
All right, have a good night. We're gonna be ending in another few minutes anyway, unless he's got some other something else he wants to talk about.
I don't know. I think I'm good. I'm coming up. We're going to have to do the. I'm going to have to do a live stream. We got to get going with the Gabby Awards.
I was going to ask you about it because we haven't done Spirits or Gabby.
Yeah. It's the end of the 6th month, so I figure definitely for the first week of July we'll do a couple of live streams talking about the best and worst comics.
And you know what? Don't worry about if people don't really vote as much. Do it for the panel.
Actually, speaking of, that is also something I wanted to talk about. I miss Jeopardy. I want to bring back Jeopardy. I do. I want to bring back Jeopardy. And if we only do it as a panel thing, then it works too. Like whoever wants to play, I think it would be fun. But I kind of do. I kind of miss Jeopardy.
You can play for the no prize because there'll be no prize.
There'll be no prize. Yeah. Well, there wasn't enough players. A lot of people love to watch. Well, some people love to watch, but not play.
I love the judge.
What I was thinking it might be good to do is, like when we're going 3 hours, put it as part of the live stream rather than make it its own thing, and then me get disappointed at the low views.
I agree, though. That it's always entertaining when Moreni's not playing because she always wins. It's much more closer with score.
Yeah. All righty. I'm also going to jump here because
we're ending. Yeah,
I want to put him away and I want to play a video game.
Yeah, I'm going to bed. So
play the Corey.
I've been playing Batman Origins and
nice.
And I'm also fine. I've been putting this off forever and a day. I'm going to finally watch Usagi Yojimbo. By the way, talk about Ms. Marvel being a flop all you want. I actually like the show, but we're not talking about
it. Too.
Have a good one, Tubby. Oh, I thought you were waving.
Yeah,
I actually like the show. So ratings aside, I understand it's a flop. I still like it. Nobody has talked about the fact that they finally made a Usagi Yojimbo cartoon.
I didn't even know this, and I'm probably the biggest Usagi Yojimbo fan in the year.
To me,
spoke about it on their channel, but
to me, that is a failure.
Yep.
Nobody cares. Nobody talks about it.
Well,
I didn't even know.
You had this is while you're gone. He had his rant for like 40 minutes saying, "No, this Netflix crap is nothing like the books whatsoever because it's aimed towards 3-year-olds."
They changed it. It's in name only. After all this time, fans wanted the show, and they don't even. It's not like they set it in Japan and then made a bad show. They literally cut the heart of Usagi Yojimbo out. One of the good things about that comic is it's made by a Japanese guy who loves to share his culture. There is no culture in this. No. It's like Riverdale did a cartoon rabbit show. It's
Yes, Brian, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, it's in the future. It's a sci-fi semi show that's not Usagi Yojimbo at all.
Okay. So it is what I heard about like a while back, and they're not. It's not actually Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah. So I've been putting it off. I'm gonna get.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah. It's
on Netflix.
You know what's sad is I'm on Netflix right now and I can't find it. It's
So
like a brand new release, and it's not even on the front page.
It's been out for maybe a month. Are you okay again? What do you want? What do you want?
Ash, you pulled us in there with you.
Oh my gosh! That's my face. Okay, you dumbass bird. What the hell?
Hold on. Hold that pose.
Okay, it's called Samurai Rabbit. For those anyone else wanting to look for it,
screenshot it, guys.
Now, I mean, he was using. Yeah, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
Oh, it's 3D animated.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hope he goes to the nose hairs. That'll be fun.
Oh, he goes for the ear hair sometimes, and if he's on my arm, he'll actually start pulling the arm hairs. Yeah.
All right. So that's it for their show tonight. Mo, I'm glad that you liked it. And I think it's your. I think you've been here before. I get confused with some of the new names. But right. So tomorrow is tomorrow's Tuesday. Yeah, right. No, wait. What is today?
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Okay, I'm so off as far as I wasn't on Extreme yesterday, so everything's pushed aside. No, tomorrow is Extreme Movie Show. I have no idea what me and Rob are doing on over there, but I know that Zach and I will be on a Geeky Puppet Show talking about the top 5. Well, you asked what that is. Well, that's where we take 5 books from our pull list, and we wait to Thursday to see if those are going to be our best books of the week. And then on Wednesdays, check out the fossils on Graphic Man. channel. And then stop back here on the Fridays.
I'll probably on Wednesday also be doing an unboxing for the auction.
All right. Are you doing anything for 4th of July? Are you doing an auction?
Is that Saturday?
No, but for Monday though. Are you doing?
It's Monday.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were going to do a quarter auction, maybe, but
I might, because isn't 4th of July the era of the mattress sale? Yeah, I could do a.
I won't be around. I was asking if you were doing one or nothing, like, because I would take advantage of the people who aren't out watching fireworks and getting eaten by mosquitoes.
I might just do that. Do a 4th of July quarter book sale.
Because you did one last year, right? On 4th of July, didn't you do one?
I might have.
I can't remember. It's too far back. All right. We are definitely past the weeds into the swamp.
There you go.
Yep.
Good night, guys.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Check out Ash on Comics channel. You may have a new video this week.
I'm on a Breen release schedule once every 6 months.